Let's war rolling at let's dog. We here to bring the truth. Jar open this podcast. We breaking through the fake news. They try to silence us, but we will be subdued. We're bearded alpha males here to save the youth. Spitting fire on the mic with the bass Christian takes. Exposing the lies, keeping the demons at bay. We ain't afraid to speak up. We won't be swayed. Jar open this podcast where the truth is laid. Jar openers, cracking open the lies. We're rolling Atlas dub. We're here to rise. Bearded alpha males saving the youth from the godless demons, spreading the truth. We ain't playing games, we're on a mission to awaken the masses with our intuition. Pulling out the corruption with no inhibition. Jar open this podcast, sparking a revolution. We're not afraid to stand tall in a world full of deceit. We're the voice of reason, bringing light to the street. Keeping it real, never missing a beat. Jar open this podcast where the truth meets the heat. Jar openers, cracking open the lies. We're rolling Atlas dub, we're here to rise. Bearded alpha males saving the youth from the godless demons, spreading the truth. Jar open this podcast where the truth will never cease. Join us on the journey to bring back peace. We're rolling Atlas thugs, fearless in our release. Jar open this podcast where the lies will decrease.
What up, what up? If you guys haven't been able to tell from my first two words, yeah, the mist got me. The mist made me sick. Actually, I don't know if I can say that. It was in a video game. Talking about in a game, duh. Oh, happy New Year to everybody. It's been a long time. Haven't seen you guys since last year. I had to do that, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I meant to say
classic dad joke right there.
Yeah, I meant to say at the end of the last show that we'll see you guys next year, and I totally forgot. And then right after we ended the show, I was like, dang it, I missed my opportunity. That was it was funny when I was in like 7th grade, the teacher told us that, and everybody was confused. They're like, next year, are you quitting? What are you talking about? I was like, oh, crap, we're a bunch of idiots.
They just didn't get it.
Yeah. Yes, your house, Leotardo, LOL, a marble. Good to see you guys.
Yes, sir. Yeah, happy New Year to everybody.
Yeah, certainly. We'll get into some stuff here in a minute. We'll let some people file in. But let's see here. We're gonna talk about Sam Hyde. He drops an epic response to Elon Musk and what's been going on over there on X. Ian Carroll is back again with some updates on Wikipedia. I'll let him kind of tell you more about the details when we get into that. We got more censorship over on X as well. And I see Henry Bellman said, so the Cybertruck exploded at Trump Tower today. Might have been because we didn't import enough Indians. Yeah, we're gonna get into that a little bit as well.
Yeah, I was told this was the top 0.01%.
Right. Let's see what else we have. The Washington Monument, Capitol Building, Empire State Building, all struck by lightning. I didn't know all three were struck by lightning. I saw that the Capitol Building was. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the time that George Floyd big mural was struck by lightning.
Yeah, right.
Warnings
It's
from
pretty symbolic.
Yeah. And like I said, that you're going to talk about the Cybertruck exploding, the New Orleans attack, and then if we get time, the Thomas Massey highlights a bill protecting Netanyahu made that a bill protecting Netanyahu made it into the House rules package, and we like Thomas Massey around here, so we like to give updates on everything that's going on. Do I sound quiet? I don't know if it's just my ears popping, but I can hardly hear myself through the headset. It's way quieter.
I think
than
it's
normal.
just your ears. You sound fine to me.
Okay, I was gonna say turn my mic up,
subjective.
but I didn't want to do that if it was just me. So yeah, unfortunately, I've just been I'm on day 4 of this stuff, and it started in my head, in my ears, my sinuses, and now it's creeping down my throat. So every time I cough or swallow, my throat hurts. But didn't want to miss the show, so I'm gonna do my best in this one. I'm gonna let Atlas take the lead on a lot more of the topics and try to refrain myself from talking as much as I normally do.
Yeah, not lose your voice. Happy with the show.
Right. I haven't been able to make daily videos either because I slept pretty much all day today. So like everything's just, I wanted to start off this year strong and starting off not strong. And so didn't want to not make videos for the channel today, and at the same time, not go live as well. So gonna struggle through it. I love doing this too, so it's not like I'm struggling and being tortured. It's I have so much fun streaming and talking and engaging with chat and everything like that. So doing everything I can. I'm chewing on cough drops and everything as well. So if you hear some crinkling, I apologize now. But let's start off with this. Oh, I didn't stage it. I thought I was already.
No, you're fine. I just want to say one thing. Man, I can't talk either. I will not to be here on Saturday. I
Okay.
unfortunately will be missing Saturday's show. I have a late Christmas that took forever to plan, so I won't be here on Saturday. So if Worrell wants to do it solo, expect a solo cast with him, or he might not do the show. It's up to Worrell, especially if he's feeling sick too. Leaving him behind in his lowest moment. I'm sure we'll update you on the Discord, or maybe Worrell will put up a video on his channel, letting you know more about that if we're going to do Saturday Live. And
Right.
somebody
As
did
of
reach
now-
out to me. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, as of now, I plan on doing it. So
Okay, perfect.
take care of whatever you got to do. But yeah, I plan on doing it.
I just wanted to say, I had somebody reach out to me, and I won't name names, but I feel like maybe people might feel the same too. Neither of us at all, care or mind how much you guys engage in chat at all. We actually encourage it like a bunch. We appreciate.
Yeah.
I mean, it helps make the show run for one, especially because it turns into a bit more of a kind of crowdsourced discussion, rather than us just kind of like discussing like a preset topic and then just like ignoring you guys in chat. So we, even if it goes off on tangents and stuff of that nature too, we appreciate it completely. We it's what makes it like kind of feel good about running the show, is that we feel like we are talking to people who are just as invested as we are, even if that means we disagree or we completely agree. We take any and all comments, and we appreciate you guys for being here.
Oh yeah, definitely. I didn't know that. Certainly, don't apologize for talking too much or anything like that. I mean, I didn't see the comment or the message or anything like that. But if that was what was going on, we're not offended. And honestly, the more comments that come in, that is telling the YouTube algorithm that people are interested. So I mean, it helps us out. Additionally, just as much as hitting the like button, subscribing to the channels, I think the engagement in chat actually helps a little bit more. Which, speaking of which,
it's not getting censored.
yeah. Which, speaking of which, make sure you guys are hitting the like button and subscribing to both of our channels. You can find me at America First TV on YouTube. I'm Worrell on X. The link to my X account is in the description of my video. And then you can find Atlas Thug. Let them know where they can find you, and then I'm gonna play this video here from me and Carroll.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube at Atlas Thugged, no spaces at all, and just like it's how it's written there. And then on X, you can find me at Atlas_Thugged_.
All right, JB. Yes, you will take my comments and like it.
Yeah.
Judge Smells.
Yeah.
That's how I read that. That's how I heard that. By the way, Caddyshack.
That's the way it is.
Let's see here. Twitter is pissed at TNT today. I don't know what you did. What'd you do, TNT? It's good to see some of you guys, or good to see all of you guys, by the way. See some of familiar faces. Oh, House said, I missed that. Most colds last a week, but you drink hot tea and honey, it'll last 7 days. Wait, that's the same.
That's a good one. It's a good one.
Henry Bellman subbed to both. Thanks for doing that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
And then I just shared in the Discord right before we went live some pictures of my backyard with how misty it was. I'm blaming the mist, right? I'm jumping on the conspiracy theory train here when it comes to the fog. The mist is making everybody sick, right? And so I took a couple pictures the other night, and one of them's kind of blurry, but the other one, you can see my blue Crocs. So don't be making fun of my blue Crocs. They're the best kind of Crocs out there, by the way. So join the Discord. The link's down in the description.
It looks like TNT said, I guess a man pushing 2 girls in front of the terrorist to save himself can't be commented on by me. I did not see that. I did see the other guy, I think it was in the New York subway, who got pushed in front of. He got pushed onto a train.
Yeah.
Then he like somehow miraculously survived. He's like in critical condition.
Yeah, I saw that. I hate those videos.
No, yeah, it's wild that there's even video of it, but obviously probably security CCTV footage. But you know, some of the comments were like, "Well, I guess this means anytime I'm taking a subway, I'm going to find the furthest wall to put my back against and stand as far away as possible." Just wild.
Yeah, for real. I mean, it's just so true. You don't just stand there and not pay attention. I mean, that's something that I learned just in the neighborhood I kind of grew up in, is you don't stand there and not pay attention to the people around you. If you can appear like you're minding your own business, but you got to have your freaking uh you got to be using your peripheral vision and your ears and stuff like that, and you can't just stand there with some headphones on looking at your phone. That's a recipe for not
Yeah.
goodness, not goodness. Adam has two hands, said America first. I hope no relation to Nick. No relation. um I actually didn't even I don't pay attention to him hardly at all, and so I didn't even know there was any like affiliation to it with the name when I named the channel. It used to be called, is when I renamed the channel. Actually, it used to be called What in the World, and it was hard to tell people like face to face. I'd be like talking to people and they ask, what do you do? And I tell them I make videos on YouTube. And oh, what's the name of your channel? And I said, What in the World? And then I'd have to spell it and give them an explanation and stuff like that. So I was like, what can I make it to that's easy? That's a brand. Like you say, I got the shirt, America First TV. You can find the shirts and stuff like in the I put a link in the description, or however it links to the videos. But no, I didn't realize that there was any relation to Nick until I started getting comments, and there's not very many, but I got a couple comments on some videos saying the same thing, kind of the same tone that you're having here. But no affiliation, no
I thought it
relation.
was funny. I thought it was funny that you named it that, because I was like, does he not know that that's like what Nick Fuentes' brand is?
No,
Because I know he's obviously super controversial. I do appreciate a lot of what he says, though. Obviously, I think he takes it too far a good bit. But I thought it was funny when you named that, and I was like, dude, he's not ready for his comment section if he doesn't know. People are
yeah,
going to be asking that all the time.
yeah, exactly. I've gotten a few comments, but no affiliation. I've had a couple people like, I'm not gonna subscribe unless you're not whatever, and I'm like, I tell them, no, man, I don't know Nick. But
It's the
anyways,
safest thing to do.
I got the shirts made now. There's no going back, right? And I like the name. I like the idea behind it as well. America First type personality is something that we need from our government leaders and things, and I'm rolling with it, and hopefully none of my subs, none of my people are paid for from big advertising or backed by anything. It's just me in my spare bedroom here chatting to you guys live 3 times a week and trying to make 2 videos a day. Yeah.
Disavow.
No, I really I don't know, man. You're
I'm
more
just
of a
messing.
fan of him than I am, and I don't know. I just don't care
No,
for the guy.
I'm not pushing either way.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm just saying that because you know how it is. You know how toxic even bringing that name up is, and it's just funny to me.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. He says the Nick guy's a furry, I heard.
Oh, but yeah, we're getting
What's up,
comments
Earl's?
flying already. You want to make me
Yeah,
put
what's
my
up, Earl's
glasses
daughter?
on?
What's up, Marcus? Dr. Dickhead. Elon banned me back in October, no reason given. Probably his poo face mods. Yeah, that sucks. Just me seems like she's a person here in chat that comes in regularly. She seems to not be able to keep and maintain an X account even beforehand well, it all started from Twitter, and now even on X you can't get any of them back. Let's see here.
Yeah, it seems like there's a select. I feel like there's probably, what was the thing that they said? I mean, Owen Troy even brought up the fact on that censorship video that there are certain kind of like archaic algorithms in coding that's like so deeply embedded into X that like even to this day, like they can't post certain links that are like direct to Infowars, like the banned.video um IP. And a few other things like that, like he can't even post that, even though Elon's had it forever, how long? So I'd imagine that there's probably some accounts that have maybe existed previously that just have some kind of deep flag on it that's like low engagement, shadow banned to the wuza, like entirely like unable to connect. Also, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I took a good bit of time to think of the name.
Yup. Then Marcus said 2025 is looking like it's going to be nuts. Yeah, certainly. With the Tesla explosion at the Trump Hotel there in Vegas, and what went on in New Orleans with Bourbon Street, the lightning strikes. Um, it's definitely off to a quick start, and these next 20 days, the countdown to Trump's inauguration is going to be something to behold. I have a feeling. What's up there, Tix Bomber? Happy New Year.
Oh, the Whitney Cummings CNN New York Eve video?
Yeah.
I don't think I saw that. Did you?
Yeah, I saw a clip of it. Somebody posted in the Discord a 6-minute video of it, and I don't know if we can play the whole thing because it is like from a CNN broadcast, but I don't know. We might just play it anyways. I didn't watch the whole thing, but she did get into some stuff, and what's his name? Andy Cohen looked at her funny, and she's like, "Oh, Andy's giving me a crazy look," and what's his name? The other dude, white hair.
Oh, the
Anderson
former
Cooper.
CIA guy. What's his name?
Yeah. Anderson Cooper was like,
Yeah,
stunned, speechless. Pretty funny.
I'll see if I can't find a shorter one on X. I'll search for him.
Girl's daughter said, "I'm getting tired of half-naked women following me on X. I know I don't post anything they like." Yeah, they follow you, hoping you'll follow them back. I just block everybody. I found out recently that the more those people like follow you, it like hurts your ranking, and so your stuff won't get seen by as many people. I don't know how much validity that is, but if that's true, I'm glad that I started blocking those people.
Yeah, you need to block them. It hurts you really badly in the algorithm. I actually didn't realize how bad mine was going. Well, my X account almost made it to like 800 followers, and then it dropped to like, what was it, like 455 or something like that. Because I was just like, I had so many bots that were like flooding to my account. Yeah, I just like was literally block. Because the more porn bots you have on your account, the more likely the X like flags your account entirely and deems it to be like explicit content. Obviously, if, like porn and OnlyFans stuff follow you, it's like this guy must post porn.
Yeah, no. Definitely don't want that. I've been stuck with like 5,000 something followers for a long time. It was going up really fast, and then something happened. Let's see here. Cooper was Granny Rockefeller's favorite. All right, so let's go ahead and looks like we got a lot of people filtered in here, and appreciate everybody for stopping in tonight. Oh yeah, before we do, we've been talking about this, and we didn't put it in the outline, but let's see here. Where's it at? This was Tim Pool's big announcement today. The time has come, because everybody like before we get into this other thing, I gotta go here because he's been saying he's got a big announcement at the beginning of the year, and everybody's been saying that he's going to sell to the Daily Wire. He's selling Timcast to the Daily Wire, and he made this post this morning. I did get up super early today just because I couldn't breathe, and then I went back to bed, but I was up whenever this happened, and he said, "The time has come. We're now seeking qualified candidates to help us spread Cask Brew coffee nationwide. Cask Brew coffee isn't just the best coffee in America. It's now a franchise system focused on developing a new public square and giving entrepreneurs a chance to manage their own future." Which, we might have lost Atlas.
No, I'm fixing my camera. I have weird focusing happening. I'll be right back.
Okay, you're good. Oh. And so it's funny because the last time I heard him talk about this, I thought that he was actually like ending his push for opening the big coffee shop. Like he had this kind of big vision for it, and it was taking too long. I think it started with like a building that was an older building, and it had a bunch of code that they had to like protect because it was older. And I don't know, maybe I think he might have just been talking about scrapping that one build potentially and then moving on to another business. But, he wants to build these coffee shops around town that play it's a counter to the mainstream media that, you go through the airport and they got CNN on every TV or whatever. He wants to have guys like us and, Steven Crowder, other people that are in this side of the culture battle, essentially playing on the TVs and the plays and stuff like that. And, it's good to see that he's pushing forward with this, but no, it's not the big Daily Wire sellout, whatever that everybody was projecting it to be. Let's click on his account and see if he gave any other updates. No, it looks like he's posting a lot today.
Yeah. Henry Bowman said, why do all the fence-sitting creators have their own coffee brand? A lot of it comes down to like the same thing, right? It's like the supplements, it's coffee. I might be thinking of one other big one. But it's because it's like a very consistent and repetitive like business model. Obviously, like coffee is something that somebody could pretty easily like stop buying from somewhere else and buy elsewhere, and you buy it consistently.
Yeah,
So that's why
it's a
so many of them do it.
it's a thing where it's a consumable, so they get you to buy not just one shirt. Like, if you want to buy an America First TV shirt, how many are you going to buy in a year? Maybe one, right? If any. You don't need that many shirts, but if it's you drink coffee every day, then it runs out and they sell it again to you next month and again to you next month. It's a better kind of business model to it gives you it gives you more income, and then at the same time, you can gauge it a lot better. You can project what your future income will be and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think going like merchandise and t-shirts is probably the better option. Or at least better to like provide for people, especially because there is so many coffee. I understand it. I see why people would be irritated to see that everyone announces a coffee thing. I think, yeah, at a certain point, you're like, can we move on to something else? Do
Yeah.
something different.
Yeah. Marcus said that Tim's announcement was anticlimactic. Yeah, it certainly was. Six bomber starter pack. But yeah, don't get mad at me if I ever start selling coffee. My cousin was trying to get me to do it. He was trying to connect me with stuff. Sell condoms, single-use product. America First condoms.
It's not a bad idea, man. But they'd probably be poor quality. Get them shipped in from China.
They're made in America. That's actually really funny. Patriot said that was
H1 visa to hire somebody to make them for you.
Yeah, exactly. These Cubans. This Seinfeld reference there. That was Patriot said this was a bomb, no battery fire. Yeah, I haven't really looked into it a whole lot. Unfortunately, like I said, I've been sick, so I kind of slept the day away. I haven't been able to dig into these two big stories that much, but I did read a little bit and watch a little bit.
Yeah, we have it all in the.
That's cool.
I was gonna say we have it all in the outline. There's so much that happened, and I think make reference to like what we talked about in the topics listing. Not only the Capitol building, but the Washington Monument in New York. What is it called? What do you call it? The Empire State Building, all being hit with lightning. I think is pretty symbolic, especially with everything that followed with it in like the next 24 hours. I think we're in for a wild ride. I think there's so much going on, and it's hard not to look at events like that as being very symbolic. Mm-hmm. What's crazy too is like all the videos that caught it, clear as day. It's like each video that caught it is like you can clearly see it's like a singular lightning strike, boom, hits the building, boom, hits the building. Just wild to see. Hopefully it's not a statement, from God for his soon to come judgment upon how America's going. I know somebody said earlier, lightning hasn't struck like that since Abraham was looking for 10 righteous people in Sodom. The conditions are pretty ripe for that to be true. I just really hope it's not happening.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yep. Here we go.
How do I'm gonna have to get moderators in chat. Thank you.
As much as I find it funny,
I find it funny because you're doing something right whenever they're here acting stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to save that for X.
Yeah.
You got to save for the actual free speech platform, not YouTube.
Yeah. Okay. So good. Were you able to get that, or was it automatic?
No, I snagged him.
Okay.
I'm very quick with it.
Cool. I was trying to figure it out. It wouldn't let me do anything because it was on your side, I
Yeah,
guess.
he's on my end. Yeah, I'm about to get to 1,000 subs, man. Can you not come in here? Can you wait and do that when I have 10K?
Right, right. I'm trying to get Atlas over 1,000 subs, so make sure you guys do hit that subscribe button over on Atlas's channel. That threw me completely off. That was a first, you guys. But that's what happens when you grow. We'll see
put
here.
him in a timeout.
Yeah. What's up, Jamie?
Come back when you want to be an adult.
Yeah, save it for X. LOL. Yeah, the one was funny. Condoms, but with Bible verses on them.
Man, that's funny. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, guys, come on, man. Come on. I think it's funny, but you're gonna get me flagged, and you're gonna get this YouTube video taken down.
Yeah,
I already have to fight multiple strikes off.
for real. Right. Okay, so sorry about
People
that.
in your chat probably like, what's going on?
Yeah. Somebody's typing bad stuff in the chat. If you guys can't see it on your end, sorry. I know we're streaming to multiple different platforms here, but we're obviously not going to put that stuff on the screen. And it's just a quick way to get banned. Thankfully, we can 2 clicks away. Let's see here. Sorry. Jamie said she got accepted into an apartment, the apartment she wanted. That's awesome, Jamie. Glad to hear that. I know you were looking. But let's see here. Actually, Henry Bellman said supposedly there are rumors a Cybertruck was detonated by a remote. Don't know how true it is, but it's going around pretty heavy. Yeah, the one thing that I saw was the guy sat there, and did he sit in it when it exploded?
Yeah, driver died and 7 other people were injured.
Okay, so I heard he sat there with his foot on the brake or something like that after pulling up. Okay, so anyways, let's play this video here, and then we'll get more into
yeah, we'll get to the terror attacks.
Yeah, we'll get into the other 2 things after this, but we wanted to start here because Wikipedia was something we were talking about last week. I say last week, but I mean last show. Let me know how the volume is, you guys. I'll turn it up if I need to.
They're deleting Epstein connections off of Wikipedia
Or
right
down.
now. I was working on something for a little documentary today.
Sounds good to me.
And went to go and look at Bill Clinton's Wikipedia page to get the number of times he flew on Epstein's plane. And it turns out that Epstein is only mentioned 1 time on Bill Clinton's Wikipedia page. And it's in the footnotes in reference to Jennifer Epstein, Clinton family speeches, netted as much as $26 million. Excuse me? So I went to the Wayback Machine and found out when did they delete all of this. Because it used to mention Epstein 47 different times. Because there used to be a whole section about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, which was, shall we say, extensive. And so it turns out, sometime on July 22nd, someone deleted all of Bill Clinton's connections to Jeffrey Epstein from Wikipedia. And ever since July 22nd of this year, no Wikipedia editor has saw fit to change that. That is despite numerous witnesses extensively documenting Bill Clinton's friendship with Epstein and his indulgence in the services. That is despite Bill Clinton threatening news publications for talking about it. Bill Clinton being photographed numerous times with his buddy. Bill Clinton being photographed with girls. Jeffrey Epstein literally had this painting of Bill Clinton in his apartment.
So weird.
Can't imagine what that means, but it's just weird timing. Why do you think Bill Clinton is having his Epstein section deleted from Wikipedia right now?
I mean, that's a good question. Why do you guys think that it's being deleted over the last few months?
Well, one crazy thing that I heard in a space that they had regarding all this censorship that's been happening on X, and no idea if it's related, but timing would seem odd. Um, Apparently, Elon Musk has ties to Jeffrey Epstein, specifically in relations to like through like relationships. I think it was like from like a girlfriend to like people related in that area. And I think Anthony Blinken was the other person who was named in that too. Um, but again, I think it, it could just be odd timing with that. But the overall situation is like they're going to do whatever they can to make cover up and do damage control with that. Um, and I think it's wild, and I think that it's great that Ian Carroll is doing as much as he does to actually go out and physically put himself out there over and over again. I've said this multiple times. If I was to expect anyone in like the large influencer or the bigger influencer network to be disappeared, it's probably going to be Ian Carroll because he is the most vocal and has like the biggest platform for it. And I just thought it was odd that we have him dropping this video now. It's crazy because Elon Musk is the one that that highlighted it. It's who like reposted it too. So it's just curious. But again, Wikipedia is not a trustworthy platform whatsoever.
Not at all. I think that's because didn't Elon? No, it wasn't Elon. It was Patrick Bet-David just had to counter a not Elon, a Wikipedia claim, a reference to Wikipedia, and it had to do with that community notes that ended up getting taken down off of one of his posts. So Wikipedia has kind of been thrown in the spotlight as not something credible that you can reference if you're trying to look up, facts, facts about anything important. I don't know, like if you want to look up geographical things that aren't really opinion based facts, maybe you can still use it as a source. But to me, it's been junk for years, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, PBD also like seemed very confused about like what's the right word? He seemed confused like what the purpose of like community notes is, because like community notes isn't just like a simple like fact checking mechanism. It's a mechanism that not only provides fact checking, but it provides like editorial context too. So like when somebody posts a video, but like the caption it may not even be a caption, but it could be like on its surface it's very misleading, and there's like added context to it. And so he kind of complained to Elon Musk about like this community notes thing, like needing to be taken off of his stuff. And then he even got community noted on the second post that he made because the community notes team came in and wrote like, hey, no, this is to provide context on your post. It's like not only one way mechanism. And so they even had to like highlight the fact that Elon Musk is like not in control of making editorial changes. It's like the head of X. It's a it's a crowdsourced
They're
thing.
deleting Epstein connection.
Oops, sorry. I did that
No,
on its
you're
own.
fine. Well, and I think what needs to be said too is I still haven't looked into it, and Wikipedia is not a good source, but I've also seen repetitively other people also reference that Patrick Bet-David didn't have the cleanest uprising. So take that with a grain of salt. How much is really true about like this kind of like Ponzi scheme, like uprising? He himself referenced the fact of how I put on like all these different insurance agents, and like put up a network who kind of like were underneath him too. I have my own disagreements with PBD, but nobody should have like a system that's kind of gamed against them, just by like mob rule. But if it's true, it's true, and it should be up there for people's context to understand.
Yeah. And then here, I just wanted to show you guys real quick. Some of you guys know, but I got accepted into the whole the proposed community notes or whatever. So I can write community notes and stuff. So there's a little insight into what kind of goes on before something gets actually noted. But this one says, you can see here, it says needs more ratings. And I can say yes, somewhat, or no, if the note was helpful. And then this person in particular said, Wikipedia article, currently December 21st, 2024, contains a section on the relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, but the content has been removed and was partially restored. There is more information on the talk page. So you see multiple different proposed community notes on this one particular thing. So I say that to mention, or I say all that to bring up the concept that it is just the community. Like I didn't do anything special. I requested I saw some community notes months ago that I disagreed with, And so I went in, I rated them, and then it was like, "Do you want to be a part of the program?" And so I said yes. And then months later, all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, I got like approved. And I'm wondering if they're approving too many people and it's becoming weaponized, because it just takes a collective of people to agree, and so then you can put a community notes on something, like what we saw with Patrick Bet David, where they called him a fraud or whatever, and it was worded pretty harshly against him. And regardless of if he is or not, I don't know, but it's just one of those things where I don't know if speaking frankly, I don't know if I should be one of these people. And I don't like, I appreciate the ability that they gave me, but I only weigh in on things that I know about. So I use it like honestly or whatever if I'm going to rate somebody's community notes. But
That's how it
there
should be used.
I could see, yeah, that's how it should be. But I could see people going in there with bad motives and just being like, "Oh yeah, this is definitely whatever," and then approving it, and then just collectively something would get community noted with a bad intention or whatever.
Yeah. Well, specifically on how it works too, a community note actually gets approved by multiple users who have disagreed in the past, agreeing on something. So it takes an amount of people who have like, someone will say this community note was not helpful. This person said that it was helpful. Those people who said that on a previous note then have to agree on a third note, and then that's what's actually counted as like the good rating. So it finds people who've disagreed previously who agree on something else together, and it uses that as like its most like primary metric to then put a community note on the page. And that's ultimately at the end of the day how it works. So it's crazy when you do see community notes that seem like they're gamed going up on these pages, although it still can be gamed. I'm sure people kind of run bots that get approved to do community notes too. But there's plenty of fail safes that are put in there to make sure that it can't be gamed, even though it still does. But it's still, I think, one of the best features I think we've seen on a social media platform, like since their inception.
Yeah, and we definitely don't want community notes to turn into like a wiki 0.0 type of thing either.
Yeah.
Girl's daughter said it's either further exposure of legal action is about to happen, or the DS needs to change up the playbook, needing to whitewash the past so they can sow more confusion and chaos in the country, or all the above. Yeah. Or all the above was in the next one. So let's I wanted to just share that just so the Epstein update, right? And what's going on with Wikipedia, because like I said, leading into it, Wikipedia is kind of a hot topic lately. Abigail Shepard said, also definitely subscribing. I can't believe I haven't been subscribed yet. Whoops. Glad y'all had a busy news day to talk about. Yeah, appreciate that.
Nice.
Yeah.
S tier comment.
So what should we move on to next? Should we go to censorship on X, or should we go ahead and get right into the Cybertruck New Orleans stuff?
Yeah, we can do Cybertruck New Orleans. Yeah. We'll wait until the second hour to do cover Sam Hyde, get an hour past the beginning of the intro before we start dropping a bunch of F-bombs.
Yeah, I wanted to avoid it. I think it's only like the first 5 minutes that YouTube is looking for stuff like that, first couple minutes. So we could get into him now too. Ooh, that's gross. We could get into that topic now. Pause myself.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you wanted to, I went very thoroughly through it. So like I didn't, obviously the full episode's like 46 minutes long. I will say, I will encourage everybody, even after the fact here, we're going to show a few clips of it, to watch the whole thing in its entirety. This is one of those like peak moments of like someone nailing something out of the ballpark. I'm someone who's like loosely familiar with Sam Hyde. I've always been familiar with some of his content. I find him to be hilarious. I know a lot of people find him to be too offensive. I disagree. I'm not somebody who gets offended by simple things. It's some of these memes are even like spot on with it too. But he basically writes, Dear Elon. He labels out multiple sections, and this is all in regards to kind of the rhetoric that's been surrounding X, which has been the H-1B visas, Vivek calling Americans like lazy and dumb, the culture being what produces us like that. Although there's like slight truths in there, the way Vivek kind of presented it was just like the wrong way to go about it. And it's overall just about like what the concept is on like on winning, right? Like what is winning? What are the consequences of winning? And what is the position and role of Elon or somebody like Elon? And what is their actual responsibility to the American people, given that he's kind of like bought himself into being essentially like a kind of like a pseudo leader. I saw people even say we need to start calling him President Musk. That way it kind of starts making Trump want to rein the reins back in and be like, no, actually, I'm the president. I thought it was pretty funny. But overall, it's a message about what is America? What does it mean to be an American? What's the consequences? What is the goal of winning? And it hits on a lot of really good subjects. And so I kind of clipped them up based on what the quotes were from other people.
Okay. So,
and yeah.
So I was gonna ask you, this link you put here in the outline, is it something that I should just scroll down? Because he has like, there's so many clips in it. Is it just kind of start at the top and go down, work my way through it, or what do you think?
Which one was this? Was that oh yeah.
At the very top.
I just wanted to look at the meta prime. He just said, probably going to be studied in the goddamn history books.
Yeah.
Okay. That's been like a reference given multiple times now. From not only just, Meta Prime having a huge tweet, you see 11,000 likes there. People like Orrin McIntyre saying that too. Well, along with many others, especially like the anon right and the dissident right, kind of like all rallying around Sam Hyde. It's funny, we talked about Nick Fuentes earlier. Some of the rhetoric has been, Sam Hyde is what Nick Fuentes could have been and still could be if he like just matured. But more often, before we get into it, it's the meme underneath that. If you see the link that was underneath that on the outline, I believe it's from Kaiguya's Top Gal. It's like some anime character, but it's like a pretty big anon account. And this is like Sam Hyde's new video. It's like, well, hey, wacky dog, say something funny. And it's like, actually, I have something serious in my mind today. And it's Sam Hyde sitting there looking like Leon Trotsky. It's just like, it's very funny. And I think it was super unexpected. I don't think people were waiting or were going to expect just an absolute banger to get dropped from Sam Hyde. So
I'm not
do it some justice, but definitely listen to the whole thing. It's like 50 minutes long.
Okay, yeah. And so Tix Bomber said that wacky dog strip is 100% accurate, LOL. And that's Tix Bomber also said Sam Hyde could be iffy on his views. He has some nepo tendencies. Dude is definitely on point with the Elon video though. And I watched some of the clips that we're about to show you, but I read through a lot of the comments underneath, and one of the comments underneath that stood out to me was that this dude like shows. Maybe I can just actually find it real quick because I thought it was funny. I have to go past a bunch of them.
What's in your pocket, man? What's that? You can show me. I think he's pretty funny. I've always enjoyed him.
Let's see. Oh yeah, here it is. In my opinion, Sam Hyde always annoys me and makes overly edgy jokes, but every few years or so, he drops a straight up banger. His response has no kinks in the armor, and he is 10,000% right. Get it together, Kikus Maximus, and that was a response to Elon Musk. I don't know if you guys saw, but he changed his profile picture the other day in his name. And of course, he owns it, but he didn't lose his blue check mark when he changed his profile picture like you're supposed to. Instantly re-verified, man. No, and he changed it back today, I saw, or at least I noticed it today. I don't know when he actually changed it back, but
he was getting roasted for it because obviously Keck has been like the mascot for the Gripper movement for Lord knows how long. And he literally nukes the whole organization. And then like, somebody said like he scalped them and then weared their skin like a soup. It was kind of like a very, very like, and people in the know kind of got like how kind of disrespectful and over the top that was. But people out of the know were like, hey, cool. Like that's a funny 4chan meme. But it was kind of wild and crazy that he changed it back so fast.
Yeah. Freedom Fry said, anyone else pissed about the H-1B visa? It's something we've been talking about over the last couple days, or last couple shows, I should say. And I kind of reserve my right to reserve my right of opinion. I reserve my opinion to find out, kind of a wait and see type scenario. And I mean, it's very obvious that the immigration, legal or illegal, is has potential to drive down American wages. And as we've kind of gone through the process, I think that H1B definitely needs to be either trashed or rewritten to where we're only bringing in more of like the top tier individuals. We shouldn't have people coming in to use a reference that was we've seen before, to be a cashier at 7-Eleven or something like that. There's definitely plenty of people in America they can do that job.
Dude,
But right now, me
dude, that joke is so old.
Oh, I didn't know that. It's funny.
Anytime
To
there's
me,
like a
I'm
mass shooter or anything like that, dude, one of the first posts I ever see is like, we're looking for Samuel Hydatha, because they just will put Sam Hyde's picture on on the shooter. It's just dude, it's such an old tired joke. It gets me every time, but it's so old.
That's pretty funny. But to me, I'm at the point where I'm just like, stop immigration. Like, let's fix everything internally right now. Let's deport a bunch of people, and then we'll reassess. Understanding that that's probably not going to happen or realistic, but that would be my take from it. America first, Americans first.
Well,
But
I think what gets me the
go through
most
some of these
too
comments. Go ahead.
yeah, I know they're flying through right now. The thing that gets me the most is H1B is like not even the right work visa for like the best of the best. Now, I believe it's like the O1 is what's for the best of the best. And there's even a few different other classifications in between them. So like the whole conversation's being obfuscated, and it's like people are talking about H1B visas, especially Elon Musk and Vivek, as if like the American people are like too stupid to understand there's different versions of visas. But that there's a second aspect of like, Trump has clearly like completely kind of flopped on his rhetoric from 2016 to even 2020 to where we are now about H1B visas. I put something in there that Ian Smith Fitness kind of put together. And then the overall, like the craziest thing with it too, is the third aspect that kind of makes me really irritated about it, is you have anybody who like refuses to like voice any dissent towards Elon, Vivek, and Trump, who all go, yeah, all the people who are against H1B visas must be Russian bots. Oh, these guys are coordinating bot farms. And it's like, dude, nothing honestly probably makes me more angry than like trying to pretend that the dissent is not organic and that it's like some kind of like drudged up astroturfed campaign being paid for by some other country, because like we can't, they lack the capacity or are unwilling to give the ground that they may be wrong on something. And it all does kind of boil down to the fact of like, we're the better men, like we know what's good for you. And so like I think that's what really, like, this kind of compounding effect over and over within a short period of time on Christmas of all times is like what really kind of I think is sending people over the edge. And then there's some kind of like, and you get like, Trump almost like saying nothing about it now. And then I think he gave a statement yesterday. I could be wrong, maybe 2 days ago. And it's him being like, well, I've always said like we need to bring the best people in here. And it's like people are pulling up all these videos from 16 and 2020, and it's like, this is not what you said. Nobody went to these rallies this last year and were like, more immigration as long as it's legal. Like that's not what the rhetoric was. And so it's wild to see that. And I think some of the early people like PBD and Tim Pool, Charlie Kirk, were saying like, don't listen, this is a leftist campaign. They're trying to do this to drive a wedge between Trump and Elon.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, they both agree on this for some reason now. Like it was just, again, they're trying to do everything they can to like pull the wool over people's eyes.
Right.
And it's just like, I'm glad Sam Hyde came out here, because I'm glad somebody came out here and pushed back against it, because it's been wild, the rhetoric that's been happening.
I will say that I think that maybe Tim Pool and PBD came out and took that initial stance because that was on the heels of the PSYOP, where they're basically where the left tried to divide Trump and Elon the first time by saying that Elon was really the president. And so I think there was maybe some like rollover, but I could be wrong. I know that they're trying to they would love to see Trump get mad at Elon and like nix the Doge department, right? And so I
Yeah.
think
Well, I
maybe
mean,
that's where they were coming from with that. I'm not making excuses for him, but I think that's what that came from, because I think even Tim Pool changed his stance on that just like a day or two later.
well, I mean, I think the thing to remember, I think with especially like Tim and PBD and those like that, they are like professional fence riders. So they'll kind
Yeah.
of hold and toe the line until it seemingly becomes more mainstream acceptable to take those positions. The person I was actually most surprised about, and I'd issue an apology if I wasn't blocked. Um, Ashley St. Clair even kind of banging the hammer, and she's like one of those people who's been up there in Elon's like tight knit circle, who's always like, you know, always agreed with Elon. Elon can never be wrong. But even on this immigration thing, she was like, in the censorship, she was like, dude, this is wild. Like, this is like a crazy way to go about how this conversation has been. And so, yeah, I would issue an apology because I thought Ashley St. Clair was one of those who would like never back down, is very like ridden with money. And so to see her even come out and say things that are in disagreement with Elon was like, okay, cool, based. I'll take it.
Right. Okay. So with that, after that long intro, let's go ahead and I'm going to play some of these clips here. This first one is weird because he's just like coughing, but I'm going to play it.
Look at this aerial drone display. It's a ballet of killer drones. How can we compete with that? That's what drones do. They move around in coordinate space. Who gives a fuck? Look at this.
Okay. So
Well, I
then,
was going to say, these ones are all smaller ones. Actually,
Yeah.
go to the outline, because all the ones that are
Oh.
underneath that are the longer ones that have like actually like I clipped out like the quotes
Oh,
that
okay.
like kind of like defines the clip there.
That's better. Yeah, that's what I was curious about earlier. If I should just, that's what I meant when I asked if I should just go down the list or not. So, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. My bad. For those of you that are just getting in here, I see that we jumped up a couple hundred more viewers. I'm battling through the sickness from the mist, so apologies for my voice and for my crinkling when I open a new cough drop.
Yeah.
Here
I
we
was
go.
also going to say, if you keep seeing my camera disappear, I'm trying to blow my nose and like not make people witness that. So if you see it disappear, understand I'm trying to clean my nose out.
Yeah, you're fine. It's just one of them things, time of year, I guess. But here we go.
Yo.
There's this disturbing idea from the BoomerCon right that America is just a collection of ideas, and you bring everybody in the world, the teeming masses who are desperate for a half gallon of milk, you bring them here and all of a sudden they're hit like lightning with this idea that makes them able to make this country stronger. This country's never been weaker, and it's never been more open to foreigners who aren't us. These two things, they're not unrelated, they're directly related. Would Ben Shapiro say the same thing about Israel? Israel's just a collection of ideas.
That's
Would
funny,
Vivek say the
Darkwing
same thing
Schmuck.
about India? India is just
I
a
saw
collection
that.
of ideas, really good
Funny.
ideas. That's why they're doing so good. Grope
Befitting.
women on the train. That's not a glib remark, by the way. I make a lot of jokes about Indians in my stand-up act. I had an Indian woman come up to me after a show. I thought she was going to chew me out and beat my ass. There's this disturbing idea from the
Yeah.
It's
So
restarting
it's
there.
like, what is a nation, right? Going at the
Mhm.
idea that, you know, everything that America is and about is like just a collection of ideas. And it's not like it is a people. America is a nation of peoples, you know, and if it was such an idea, you know, why wouldn't people just take that idea and take it to their countries and give the idea of America to their countries?
Right.
It's again, it falls back, and it's more of like a secondary kind of line of thinking that reinforces such of stuff like the Great Replacement. It's like, but legally, right? It's like, you know, finding somewhere to allow it to continue without being like offensive, for lack of better words. And the same thing here is being done to like what we did, right? Like, America was very revolutionary. Now, it was bound by a group of ideas, but we've left behind, even in our culture, that we were bound by a Christ breathed set of ideas. And so to act as if like there weren't sacrifices and an actual peoples who were here that developed and were the first Americans is like extremely, like, it's deeply kind of dangerous rhetoric, and it pushes us into a point of what's the right word? Pushes to a point where it challenges like what is worth protecting, right? And it pushes us in a really bad spot. And I think this kind of lends itself. I think Laura Loomer has been saying like the dark enlightenment. Um, a lot of these ideas that we're actually deeply opposed to, the people who have been here. Um, and it's sad to see, because I think most people have been taking this as like a very strong stab in the back, um, using it as a guise to be like, and this is why we should import all immigrants, because like meritocracy over anything else. And it's trying to kind of like put it to a point of telling people what they should prioritize, anything but honestly helping the people who have been here and have been struggling. And I think, case in point, you see North Carolina, absolutely devastated ever since the hurricane. And we've sent, what's it called? We've sent money to Brazil. We've sent billions of dollars to Ukraine, Israel, all these other places. And what are we doing for our own people? So all of this stuff still kind of follows suit with this hollowing out of what America is, and specifically the actual American people, not the ones who are getting like imported and a couple months ago voted for Joe Biden. Like, that's not what the base of like the MAGA movement is, and that's not really what the base of an American is.
I'm seeing these comments here. So you guys give me
I am a father and I do vape.
I don't.
It's good.
The thought of vaping right now even would just kill my throat. But that's funny. He said he followed up and said, a guy don't call himself Atlas, he definitely vapes. Well, he nailed it.
Yeah. No, you're spot on, brother.
That's really funny. Yeah, I saw when that video was playing that you guys are talking about the numbers. Just so you know, we are actually streaming to X, Rumble, and YouTube, and to both of our accounts on YouTube as well. So it's kind of spread out, and that's where the number I came up with. Right now, we actually have 487 combined. So I appreciate everybody for being here and starting this year off strong for us in the channel and in both of our channels. And I wanted to mention once again that we're trying to get Atlas over 1,000 subs. He needs like 85 or 90. I haven't looked at the number in the last couple of days, but we're trying to get him over 1,000. So if you haven't yet, make sure you stop into his YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button, and that would really help him out. That 1,000 subs is a big milestone for the monetization and some of that stuff over there. So.
Oh, I see I've gotten quite a few since this video started, so thank you very much. I appreciate it. Looks like I have 100 live viewers on my channel right now. So thank you very much. Thank you all for being here.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. I don't even know what I have. I don't really care. We'll just keep going. But let's see. So thanks for laughing at my jokes. That's cool, man. Appreciate you for doing that.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And you can find me at America First TV. Gotta throw that in there. That's my channel on YouTube as well. Not affiliated with Nick. Foxtronic said, I agree. The Tech Brothers are a dangerous addition to the 47's administration. Yeah, it's one of those things where we take it. How do I want to say that? The right people on the right tends to accept everybody. And, as the left goes, if you step out of line, they basically kick you out of the cult. But you just got to be careful with that. You got to, as it pertains to, Vivek and Elon and some of these folks, they just got here. And so, I think of Dave Rubin when he mentioned the other day that he was talking about Cenk Uygur, but he's like, you just got here 5 minutes ago. You don't have any right to be in the thought leader space and telling us what to think. We've been here in this MAGA movement for, 9 years now. And, we haven't changed. It's just you just now are coming to the understanding of what our beliefs are, even though we've told you 1,000 times, you just now finally let it sink into your head.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's another crazy thought. So I'm supposed to believe that the smartest man in the world voted for Joe Biden in 2020. right? Like that's what like we're like that's what we're going with.
Mhm.
It's like, no, I think ultimately you got to trust that people will do things in their own interest. And I think that Elon is somebody who saw an advantage with like the opportunity that came about with Trump. I think he's more so it's all these tech bros, the Silicon Valley adjacent group is they're in it for the money. They're in it for the financial means. And that's why I think they are taking such a harsh position in regards to the H-1B visas, because that 1% uh, boost on the profit margin while be able to maintain these very, very low, American median income cutting wages for the imported talent and the best of the best is because they are primarily more invested in profit, in money, in their own goals, going to Mars than they are like their own people, the own American people. And that's why I think there's got to be a very hard pushback against this, because we can't let billionaires continually push us around just because they have sway and influence. Even if they did good things in the past, we still got to keep, a square is a square, and it's got to be called that way.
Right. So let's play this next clip here from Sam Hyde. I appreciate all the chat coming in. I'm trying to keep up and read what everybody's saying. It's going a lot faster than normal, which I love. You guys are making my day. I'm really glad I decided to stream today and didn't let the sickness overcome me. But here we go.
The guy who's the free speech guy. And not only that, but the reasoning from first principles guy, the logical fallacy guy, the Reddit guy, good faith argue with everybody, whatever. All that shit. Blanket banning groypers, taking away blue checks, changing the algorithm of the site because 100 people ratioed you, because there's fucking 50,000 posts. They're all organic, by the way. This is not some Russian bot farm. It's not some nefarious behind the scenes, let's mess with Elon, we're gonna fuck with him. That's not what it is. It's you tapped into a moist critical. You tapped into a moist critical, and we're back to moist critical. Mainline concern for the American people. And you treated it in a way that was glib and dismissive. You just became a Republican 3 months ago, and you're talking about removing a big portion of regular people, root and stem. No. People fucking love you. They will forgive you. Nobody is trying to get you to become turbo base pilled, full Pat Buchanan immigration policy. People broadly understand that you are a San Francisco, tech, California, international immigrant. If you want to be a regular tech guy, that's fine. You can do that. You can be Larry Ellison. You can go play on the boat. Nobody's going to give a fuck. Realize what you're fighting for. If you're going to be the tech king, if you've courted the MAGA base, you wanted these people on your side. They're ready to be on your side, but you have to fight not for Ben Shapiro's idea of the country of America, the notion of America as this collection of ideas. That's not what it is. It's Americans. That's who you have to fight for. If you're in America, doing business in America, you want to be the man in America, you have to fight for the American people. You're not fighting for a paragraph. You're not fighting for a set of ideas, man. It's the American people who need your help. That's fundamentally why I think people are pissed off here. And it's an easy fix. Just don't call them retards.
Right. Right. Don't start trashing like American traditions and stuff. We've always over at our friends' houses and stuff like that. Pertaining to Vivek's comment. What are you laughing at?
It's crazy because it's on Christmas of all days, dude. It was like everybody had the day off. They go on X, and it's just Vivek being like, and this is why we can't help the American people. This is why we have to bring in Indians. You guys can't do it. And it's crazy. And I think the craziest thing about this too is it's like these are the same people, right? Elon, Vivek, all that whole group, Tech Bro, everybody, the 47 administration, who go, yeah, we can see that there's been this crazy kind of DEI that's kind of forced very, very kind of diverse lay of the land when it comes to not only just jobs, but when it comes to education. And then we're all going to agree that that happened. Yeah, definitely. And we can see it's been happening for quite some time. Oh, that's why all these young men have kind of fallen onto the wayside. They don't want to be involved with that. They don't want to be pushed into some kind of super effeminate kind of system. And then we go, well, you know how we can fix that? We'll continue to ignore them. We'll actually jump right over them, and we'll bring in Indians and everybody else from other countries to take the jobs that they otherwise could have had. It's like it falls on deaf ears, and that's why I think when
Yeah.
we get to the point that Sam Hyde has here, which is like, what is the point of winning if it comes at the consequence of abandoning American people almost entirely? And that's I think is the best point about this Sam Hyde video.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Adam Price said the country had a hard shift to the right. Half of MAGA was cheerleading BLM brick tossers 5 minutes ago, and that's a good point too. Yes, we want these people's vote. We want them to see the light, right? But these people need to sit down and shut the hell up right now. And you know that's just the snowflakes going with the wind blows, right? Going whichever way the wind blows. And you know, thankfully we got Donald Trump in there, and hopefully it works out, right? But something I've said before in the past, and I'm going to reiterate this multiple times in the future, is we're not going for good enough. We want the best, and we need to make sure that we hold all these people's feet to the fire. When they do something good for us, we'll cheer, we'll pat them on the back, and they need to treat it like a football team or something. You know, they can celebrate a win on Sunday for Sunday night, but then Monday it's back to business, and we're on to the next game, you know, and it's just the standard that we need to hold these people to. These people work for us, and if they want to jump into the space, we need to demand the very best, right? And call them out when they're just settling for good enough.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing with it too is it's getting really toxic. You know, I think people might take this the wrong way, but I think it's a reality. You have all these people. I think someone like DC Drano and others included, Cat Turd being one of them as well, being all these guys who are like it's almost like blasphemy to say like Trump might have done something wrong. Like, you know, I posted a meme earlier. It's like, you know, you can disrespect Jesus Christ and everyone's like asleep. And it's like disrespect Trump or say he did something wrong or made the bad decision. These people are like, whoa, whoa, whoa. They treat it like it's some great sin. And that's what I think is like that toxic part about what mega cult I wish it wasn't, which I think that the majority of the mega base is definitely individual thinkers. But I do think there is a group of them that is like Trump can do no wrong.
Yeah,
And they see any kind of dissent as either being inorganic or you're just here to sabotage. You're just trying to sabotage the agenda. And I think you nailed it when you said like these people are meant to work for us. Like we rallied behind Trump because we want Trump to work for us, not
right,
rally behind him because we want Trump to tell us what he wants to do with us. Like
right.
it's just not the way it works.
We don't want him to be our king. We want him to, you know, work for us. That's what he did the first time around, or what he tried to give the power back to the people. And power, the word power is something that the Democratic Party, it goes back to the first person that really stands out to me was Hillary Clinton talking about the power. They'll lie, cheat, steal, say whatever they want. Say whatever they think they want. Say whatever they think
Dude,
you want to hear.
say that.
Sorry. Say whatever they think you want to hear in order to win your vote. But then once they get the power, that power is theirs, right? And Donald Trump, like I said, his first 4 years, I think he tried to give that power back to the people. And
Right.
that's, I think, what people are hoping for this time as well, or expecting. Really, that's what I'm expecting, and hopefully it starts this new trend in the in society. We learned a lot during the pandemic how important it is to vote for our governors. We saw some states locked down. We saw some states that were more open, and it's one of those things where we need to recognize that the left wants Trump or wants a president to be a king or a dictator and dictate to every single state the rules, essentially, and they want those rules to be, you know, set by them and their way of thinking versus how it really is, where we're a republic of states, and some states will lock you down, some states won't. And so I think it's funny. I wanted to point out the hypocrisy there, that the the Democrats called Trump this dictator fascist, but then that's what they actually wanted him to be. That's what they want out of their own leader. Just think of how they think about how they relate to like the abortion laws. They want it to be a federal mandate,
Well, that's what I've said. I've said this multiple times. I wish Trump was as based as they make him out to be, right? And what I mean by that is specifically like I wish he would just come out here and be maybe a bit more fascistic than what he's ever been in his life. The Democrats and the leftists and leftoids, that whole progressive establishment group. Oh my God, like Trump's literally Hitler. I wish he would come out here and be Hitler with his appointments, right? Be like, you know what? Senate's a bunch of rhinos. Why even have appointments? We know how that's going to work. Recess, everybody get out of here. Matt Gaetz is AG. Pete Hegseth, go on and go on. But he didn't do that. And again, it's because he's not this kind of crazy fascistic person. I think the other thing we got to keep into perspective, you brought up the lockdowns. Like this is literally a battle of good versus evil. So anytime like the parameters, like we kind of like lose sight of that, it's like you kind of miss a big portion of what's going on. And I think that applies even here with like the censorship aspect and like the H-1B visas, like everything that's involved in that too. It's like there is some force that is always going to be working against us. It's just the natural state of existence here. And that's what, when you don't look at it from that point of view, is when you can begin to kind of be like, well, maybe it was like this, or maybe it was like this. And it's like, well, did it ultimately go against like what would be best for? Did it ultimately go against what like the greater good may have been? And I think too many people, when they don't view it like that, are quick to give excuses. Well, maybe it was like this, or maybe have a bit more patience. And I'm not to say that having patience is a bad thing, but I think losing sight of the fact that there is a reality of a bunch of elites who are probably more than likely involved in some insanely ridiculous blackmail ring that involves the abuse of children to degrees in which we can't even say online.
Right.
It's like there is some control mechanism. We know it exists. People get mad when you start naming like who it may be and what it is, but we know it's there. We know it with 100% certainty, there is some kind of blackmail ring that is occurring. And so losing sight of that at any point is like, you forget who's at like the top, who's dictating a lot more than what we realize. And so I think there's truth to be had in the fact of like, has Elon worked with these people? Not to say he's an entirely bad person, but is there some kind of connection there? And everything kind of like comes downstream from that too. Like even COVID was a big example of that, like seeing how much people would be subjugated and not say anything. Like how long can 15 days to slow the spread? And it's like, it's been a year. So much of this is like why it can't just be the right versus the left. It exists on both sides. There's infiltrators, there's people who pretend, like the Ray Epps thing. That's a pretty easy one. He just kind of dresses up, puts a MAGA hat on, and he's like, get in there, like go into the Capitol. But that happens even on bigger scales where influencers kind of blow up. And in reality, it's like they are being paid by some kind of foreign entity, or they were being paid under the table by somebody. And the whole point of it was to make sure that they could subvert it by pushing some kind of ideology, whether it's inherently just kind of watered down or particularly isn't antithetical to what we actually wanted from the beginning. It's just, there's so much going on. And I understand for like on the surface, like why a lot of people just see the politics and they go, I don't even care anymore, because it is such a toxic environment to even be in. And the more you kind of push outside of like what's acceptable, you get to the realm of like, you get called a neo-Nazi, or you get called, an anti-Semite, you get called all these different things to be labeled, Sixers from Sunday. And most people are just like, I just want to be left alone. I don't care. And that's kind of like, what's the word? An immovable object meets an unrelenting force. And that's just like the overall, it's just very, very unfortunate. But some people are insane like me, who like, I'm in it every single day because it's like, I have some kind of tick in my body where it's like, I really want to fix things, and I don't care like what predicament it puts me in. I'll take the risk because it's like, I know the best thing I could do is like fight against what I believe to be as evil. And that's just really all you can really hope for, is to pull as many people with you as possible.
Yeah. I see a lot of folks talking about Elon in the chat here. And what was I going to say? I had a take. Hang on. What was I going to say?
Yeah, the chat's flying. I've not really been able to follow along with it, but I do appreciate everybody coming in here.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, I think Elon is more self-serving in this whole MAGA transition. He saw how the woke in, you know, the DEI agenda, took his son from him, turned his son into a girl or whatever. Not really literally, but in their eyes. And he sided with Trump because if you remember, I don't think Trump and Elon really got along up until just this last year, and like just historically. And so I think, you know, Trump running a campaign when somebody comes in with millions of dollars wanting to, in the power of X, wanting to back you, of course, you're going to accept it. But I think his motives here are a little bit more self-serving. He's seen, he's witnessed, he's felt how the Democrat-led, you know, California government treated Tesla, which, you know, Tesla is this, you know, I would argue one of the biggest companies, the biggest company in America that's against this whole, you know, global climate change as they try to move to electrics. And I'm not even trying to get into all that. I understand that all the electricity that runs their batteries comes from coal plants and everything like that. But still, the way that he was treated in California, the way that, you know, what happened to his son, I think is more of a personal vendetta, and he just sided with the lesser of two, you know, the lesser of two evils, maybe from his perspective or whatever. But, you know, we'll take the support, we'll take the money, we'll take the victory in the election. That's for sure. But, you know, you can't, we gotta, you know, you accept it, but you keep them still at an arm's length when it comes to being a thought leader in the movement.
Yeah, well, ultimately, there's like I think a downfall of what we have going on is like the nonstop calls for like things like unity in like the friendship, like removal of like the friendship enemy distinction. And so we kind of get to these points where it's like, well, let's just be friends with everybody. And, you know, especially when the stakes are as high as they are. And not to mention, I think like the Tesla was one of the companies that early on after the Roe v. Wade fell, they were one of the first companies to say, hey, if you need to get an abortion, we'll pay for you to drive to the state you need to get it done in.
Yeah.
And so he's always been opposed to very kind of basic Christian principles. And so I think what's made it easier is the fact that the conservative movement has been nearly entirely hollowed out from its most basic Christian principles. You know, I say this all the
Yeah.
time, right? Like we couldn't even hold the line against like, you know, abortion. We couldn't drop the issue this time around. But now it makes that much easier when the base has become to very kind of non-religious, non-social conservative values, maybe just more economically social values. And that's what gets like hung on to. So then Elon finds it easier to move over here because now he has more in common now that you drop the Christianity aspect. And, you know, it is hard to trust somebody. And that's why I think, like, again, one of the easiest things, you just point out the fact that, like, I literally voted for Biden in 2020. You know, I think there's a lot more. You say it all the time, you know, Missouri is a show me state. It's like, well, you showed me some good, but now what you've shown me in the last week is I actually, you know, I revoke everything I said about you, right? Like censorship is one of those things where once you enact it in some form and don't immediately correct for it, it's like, I'm sorry, what's to say you're any different from Jack Dorsey, right? What's to say you're really anything but just a different color of that previous, you know, Twitter Vanguard 1.0. And, you know, I've yet to see it. And it's rather super disappointing. And I think that's why this issue is being talked about. It's because so many people were kind of brought in on a Trojan horse. And now they're kind of saying like, man, like what the heck? And now we have all this infighting going on. Some people obviously wanted to stop. Some people are like, this isn't stopping. And, you know, especially when Elon says, you know, go fuck your fucking face, right? It's like, that's something hard to kind of choke down, especially on something that you disagree with completely.
Right. That's that turd in the ice cream, or that speck of poop in the ice cream. It ruins the whole bowl. Let's see here. So let's go ahead and let's play this next clip from Sam Hyde. We got a few more to play, and then I want to get into this New Orleans and Las Vegas stuff that's going on as well. Running out of time.
Yeah, I see we're pushing time right now. I do want to say though, definitely go find that on Sam Hyde's page. It's like a 50 minutes long. One of the best things I've seen in the last couple of months. Wild that he came out and dropped it. But it's really good, worth your time.
Yeah, and Stacy 2002. I'm seeing your comments. He is a video game dork. I mean, he lives in his own freaking world. And Eek says Elon Musk is a transhumanist globalist. I don't trust the guy. Yeah, I'm right there too with you. You can keep that neural link or whatever it's called away from me. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is something that Sovereign Bra and I think a lot of like the Christian nationalist group kind of was arguing early on. Not that they kind of put any huge merit behind it, but I'm going to put a chip in your brain. I'm going to make a global everything app out of X, and like we're going to make this X is this global payment transaction utilization. People were like, he's going to bring about the number of the beast, like he's going to bring about the mark of the beast.
Mhm.
That's what kind of like these early ideas being seen like that. But when you're doing this censorship stuff, I mean, you think I'm going to trust you to put a chip in my brain and not like erase my ideas or my memories? Like next thing you know, I'm like, yeah, I like this, and it's like I was never married. My name is X, right? Like I just become an entirely different person. It's like, no way I'm trusting you now, let alone trust you to even put my money in your app if you're going to censor and debank and demonetize people. It's just like, it's such a bad optic form.
Yeah. Abigail Shepard said 4-hour streams. Let's go. You know what? I'd be willing to try it. We were talking the other day after our last stream about maybe doing like a long marathon and just trying to reach as many people as possible and let them, give people more of an opportunity to find the show and stuff like that. But that would take some prep, that's for sure. But I'd drop my daily videos and start streaming if everybody was willing to start showing up more often and stuff like that. But Adam Price said a little divided MAGA is healthy. You don't want to treat any politician like a god, and that's true. And we don't want to treat them like a king. We don't want to treat them like a god. They work for us, and we need to remember that. At all the levels, our governors, our mayors, our reps, and of course the president. And thankfully, that we do have the power of X. We've seen the public opinion sway Donald Trump once before. And so, when it came to his cabinet selection. And so you never know. I mean, it's, thanks to Elon, we do have X, and we do have that platform where dissenting voices don't necessarily, well, it sucks. I felt a lot more confident saying this last week than I do this week, but where dissenting voices are heard, right?
Yeah.
And what's going on over the last week with people being, shut down, essentially losing their blue checks and stuff like that.
Well, I think what can't be understated too, as an aside from the censorship, is like, it's not a matter of like if, but when with the transhumanism. And like we already have, I think what was their first guy was a guy who was completely disabled. There's a specific term for that when you can't use your limbs, and forgive me if someone's affected by that, because I just cannot think of what that's called. But he's like using it, right? He like plays Civilization 6 at like a 10 times rate speed because he can just think it, and the cursor's doing everything for him. He's playing the game. His hotkeys are like in his dome. And if that works for a guy who's entirely disabled to work as a functioning like interface, then it's going to be so much easier to implement just kind of like very minor accessibility type things for the average person, like putting something in your head to make it so that when you want to open your phone, you don't even have to touch your phone to look at it or tap it. You can just like think, and then you can send a message real quick, as long as it's within like 20 feet or something like that. So we're already like very close to that becoming, maybe not every person has it, but it'll start as a luxury item. And as we know how innovation and technology, it has exponential growth, it is just a very short matter of time from there until it becomes into middle class homes, and then everyone has one. I mean, now we're at the point where iPhones used to be super expensive and everybody had one. You'd kind of flex it if you had it. And now homeless people have iPhones. And it's just a matter of time before it filters everywhere.
Well, now
Yeah,
illegals got iPhones, and they're on that CBP1 app applying for asylum to get into our country.
Right.
But yeah, I'm sorry. It's just getting worse and worse. William Stacy asked, "Do you guys think Kash Patel will make it through the Senate?" From everything that I've heard, that he will be confirmed. I think there's maybe like one or two. What was it? Maybe Lindsey Graham that was floating. I haven't looked into it a whole lot in the last week. Nothing's come across my feed, but I think Lindsey Graham might have been wavering in his support. But I did hear at one point maybe 10 or 12 days ago that um, Kash Patel shouldn't have any issues, that he was actually going to be unanimous from the Republicans. Did you hear anything different?
I haven't heard much about if he's got like opposition in terms of voting. I do remember the last thing when he was kind of early, when it was like the first couple of days that he had been nominated, was that like they were leaking information from his past to obviously kind of soil the idea of him getting put in there. But again, the Missouri Show Me State thing, right now as it sits, I think there's a lot of kind of rhetoric that gets said and repeated by people in this party in the mega group that I just disagree with entirely. So I can only hope, really, even if he gets nominated, and that it will produce the outcomes that we're looking for, which would be throwing people in jail who've committed crimes and not playing this kind of game of like, well, we don't want to like look bad, right? And so, I hope you get Kash Patel in there, and one of the first things they do is like, who is on the J6 committee, because they're all going to prison. That's one of the first things, right? But I'm not sure, because I know that Joe Biden spoke about doing all those blanket pardons for people like I can't remember her name. It's the Dick Cheney's daughter. What's her name? And all the other people who are like on the J6 committee, and people like Dr. Fauci, who I don't care what pardon gets put in there, dude. Somebody like that needs definitely held accountable. And if we can't try him here, send him to the international court somewhere, dude. Like, you're getting tried somewhere. Like, when crimes happen at that level, of that magnitude, I don't think a pardon cuts it. And there's got to be workarounds with stuff like that. But we'll see. I think that there is a portion of the swamp that is pretty scared, just because they know that we will get some. But I hope it does go scorched earth. Like, get everyone. Let's not play this kind of game with people who cheat. Let's just end this once and for all.
Right. I saw a comment here. Stacy 2002 said, "I think we're going back to the grassroots, boys. This isn't the movement that saves our country. I think it's the stepping stone. Like, we can't. It's not going to fix. This isn't something that's going to be fixed overnight. It's going to take years and maybe decades, but might be a step in the right direction. Pray for revival. I think the best chance for our country to get back on the right track is through Jesus, and focusing on that type of way, essentially.
Yeah.
Have a strong foundation, and then you can grow from there.
Well, not even to derail too much, but I think that the idea and concept of abortion is a more morally obvious question to repeat Jeff Younger. And that's why I do hold a bit of a black pill on where Christianity is at in regards to its attachment to a political affiliation. I think we've brought up this example countless times, but this is why I think that one of these examples, or abortion is one of the examples where ultimately it can't be a states' right issue, allowing, especially when the one state views it as murder and the next state says you can go to 9 weeks or 9 months, doesn't matter. And then you allow opportunities for wives to go behind their husband's back, or even boyfriend, girlfriend, and travel to a different state to get a procedure done. We know ultimately that how states have been acting, that no state is going to when push comes to shove, go in and extradite a woman for committing a crime that would otherwise net her like 20 years or something, whatever that charge may be. And so if there's going to be no kind of consequence that backs the idea of not getting abortions or the disincentivization of it, everyone's just going to take advantage of like moving to a different state. And I think you can even pull that back to even the transgender stuff we see with Jeff Younger, where he got a ruling in Texas that said like, hey, like, you have to stop this until we get like more information, until we can see more, like a hold or an injunction. I forget the terminology. And then she flees to California, and then the California courts protect her. And now Jeff is fighting a lawsuit from California, which is making him be charged, damages for even pushing the lawsuit in the first place. Now he can't even know what's going on medically with his children. And that's why it's like some things couldn't be left up to the states, but some stuff that's so morally despicable, can't be, right? Which is like the question of like what the Civil War was, which was like it can't be left up to the states. They didn't agree at the federal level that certain states should be allowed to have slavery and some states can. Like the whole war was fought on this precedent of there was such a moral schism between the nation that the whole idea of kind of states' rights kind of like fell to the wayside, and that's how you got the federal government growing. I mean, there's so many things to it, but this is just a small fraction of it, or at least a big piece of it. And I think that extends itself to the abortion argument too. That's when it's just got to be like it to, in my personal opinion, and I think what the right opinion and the Christian opinion would be, is that it should be opposed everywhere at the federal level, especially when I think most people do view it on the Christian base that it is murder. There's no difference between the two. And there's, you know, people kind of oppose it. You can't, it's unconstitutional to bring a federal abortion ban. And it's like, well, you know, going back to the early 1700s, they didn't view it as, like, abortion wasn't a thing. That wasn't even like a term. It was, they viewed it as murder and they treated it as such. Like if a woman killed her child, they just deemed it to be that. They didn't make up a term for it and then abide legality beyond that. It was more so like that just wasn't allowed. And it's just one of those things. It's just a side point though, to pick apart what we talked about earlier.
Yeah, totally. So I've been trying to keep up with chat here. Samantha Womack said, have you guys ever noticed how many comments get deleted as spam? On my channel, I have 0 filters on the comments. If they get deleted on my channel, it's a YouTube thing, but I don't know what Atlas's settings are at. So
yeah, mine should be the same as yours. I don't put anything on mine. I know you can like select, right? You can like select, like, do you want to have like a cuss word filter or like whatever that, I forget, it's some term they put in there, but I don't have one on mine.
Okay.
But people have complained about this for some time on my channel. Like I think even TNT tried like the other day on something pretty simple. He couldn't even put asterisk in between the letters and words to type a message out. It just kept denying him over and over again. So I'm sorry. Yeah, YouTube just, it is not free speech on YouTube.
Right.
Not even close.
I hate that on my channel, and I don't see this on everybody's channel, but a lot of times it'll give this pop-up like be respectful and stuff, and then people get mad at me and say, you put this thing on your channel that says be respectful in the comments, and then you're not respectful in your video. I'm like, I don't know where that even comes from. I have it set to zero filters. Like if I go and I'm looking at my comment section right now on the channel, and the only thing it shows is like offensive stuff, and it's like people, like this person said, this kid has such a punchable face, LOL. That got taken out by YouTube.
It's funny.
So it's, I don't know. They don't like the word retard still. But yeah, we do our best on that. Like I'm not trying to filter anybody. Sorry to derail the conversation there a little bit, but I just wanted to address that just so you guys know. Like we're not out here preaching free speech and then filtering people's comments. Of course, we had to delete a couple bad comments earlier when people were trying to go around the filter and say racist things, and so those people got deleted and blocked or whatever. But for the most part,
I'm gonna be honest. I don't even like know what, I know YouTube would probably obviously flag those, but like I don't know if that even affects my channel personally. Like if that stuff goes, so like that's really the reason why I got it, because like, dude, I'm about to hit 1K subscribers, and we get you get people in here trying to go around the filter. You know, I'll be honest, and we'll probably disagree. It's like I could care less, but I don't know how it would affect the channel at all. So like that's the only reason. And when I see it, it's like I'm going to get rid of it until I know otherwise. So, but no, anything about like COVID or Elon or stuff that's getting flagged out, like, yeah, trust me, I'm not trying to do nothing with that speech.
Yeah, for sure. And Samantha followed up and said, I wasn't trying to suggest that, just to be clear. I know it's YouTube. Yeah, that's cool. I just want to, since you brought it up, you know, I figured, I'd go ahead and address it because it's something that bothers me that YouTube does. But you know what? I'm thankful for YouTube. I know a lot of people, and I said this before, so forgive me. But a lot of people say, well, why don't you just say that last 1%? And it's like, well, because YouTube holds literally hundreds of gigabytes of my videos for free, and then they pay me for it. They give me a platform and an opportunity to make a living and chase my dream doing this. And they have rules, and I don't mind following the rules. You know, if you want to see the unfiltered stuff, we have a Discord that you guys can join, and the link's in the description of both of our videos. And then you can follow us on X, where things will be a little less filtered over there as well. But Donnie Brick said there's no free speech anywhere. Yeah, and that's true. There's really truly no free speech, but I don't think it's being a sellout, following the rules and being grateful for an opportunity, but that's just my opinion, where I come from on it. Well, let's play this last little clip from Sam, and then let's get into this other two things, because those are what I really want to talk about the most.
Yeah.
Mike said, respect the giver of the opportunity. Yeah.
America into India are fuckers. People are not America into India are fuckers. People are not interchangeable economic units. If they're not more than that, then that's just an extension of antinatalism. That's just nihilism. That's just people don't matter. Neil deGrasse Tyson, the universe doesn't care shit. The universe cares. That's why we're here. It's understandable why a computer guy, why an engineer would think that, or would want to think that, because it would make solving problems so much easier. We have hardwired group preferences, we have genetic memory, we have culture. This is not learned stuff. It's so deeply embedded in us that it carries on for thousands of years. Thinking of people as interchangeable units, while it would be useful in a simulation or in an economic theorem, it strips them of their humanity. And by the way, it's one of the first steps towards any authoritarian dictatorship type system. It's one of the first steps towards Marxism, is thinking of people as just labor. It's a very gross, anti-human thing to think, just to appeal to the Redditor in you. That's America.
Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
No, people were making the AI images of Elon where he was wearing a Redditor shirt. It's just so.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. And then actually, let's play this other one too. I got another clip here. Cue it up.
This one might be the best one too, or the second best one.
Okay.
Hey, why isn't China importing infinity Indians right now? If it's such a huge economic advantage, why isn't China doing it? We need to do a naval blockade of China to make sure they don't get any of these amazing Indians. Every Indian that makes his way into China is a threat, because China will use their genius to get one over on us. That's the biggest threat this country's facing, right? I think we need to go nuclear. I think we need to say, if China imports enough Indians, it's like diamonds. It's like nanotechnology. Indians are like nanotechnology. We have to be willing to use nuclear weapons to keep China from getting these precious Indians. That's step one. Sounds retarded, right? Because it is. It's retarded. It's subtarded. Ever hear of a subtard?
Ever hear of a subtard? I've never heard of that word.
That part was so good, but it's so spot on, dude. Because it's obviously it's obvious what is going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very obvious, but just to word it like that and be so and then to use Elon's subtard back at him too. It's good, right? I even made a post too. It's like you would think the way this discussion was happening was like, we just discovered Indians 3 minutes ago, and they're the greatest untapped resource since fossil fuels. It's like, dude, that's not what's going on here. It's like they're trying to have indentured servitude. They want some slave labor. It cracked me up. And again, I encourage anybody who's not seen that full thing to please go watch it. It's so good.
Yeah, definitely should check that out. I'm gonna watch the rest of them. I haven't seen them all myself, to be honest with you. I haven't seen the full thing, so I'm gonna check that out probably when we're done. But it's he made an interesting point there at the beginning, and I wanted to bring this up because he didn't mention it in any of the clips that we've seen. But China and India are two BRICS nations. The BRICS, alliance or whatever, and you know, when you consider that they're allies like that, but then you factor in what he just said, it's like, you know, it's pretty
Right.
wild.
Yeah. You would expect then that there would be a large population of Indians on there, but there's not.
Right.
And you know, I think a lot of this comes down to the fact that people have been beaten so badly with the cudgel of like emotional abuse and like being afraid to be any ounce of race realist or like being like, yeah, maybe there are cultural differences, right? Because it's like you move away anything away from the position that like literally everyone's equal no matter what. There's zero differences, period, done, nothing, right? This kind of like insane ideology that's obviously not true to anybody that has eyeballs. That's when you find like that kind of pushback, right? You get people screaming about it, and it instantly goes to like, wow, you must hate Indians. And it's such an easy way to try to shut down the argument and paint someone who would oppose something that has substance to it as just a bad person or a hater, right? Or like, or you're doing this for the wrong reasons. And it's just like that's just not the way it is. And that's why, you know, somebody posted something earlier. You know, war might feel different than me. You know, we're not aligned 100%, but like I am somebody who's like a race realist, and I think it's actually more dangerous to like to pretend otherwise than it is to actually be like, no, there are differences in our cultures, and being unaware of that can lead to some pretty bad consequences. This is like this is what's going to be driving the fact that the MAGA movement and the right wing is literally at each other's throats right now. Is because you do have a large group of like the alt right or the dissident right, whatever you want to call them, who have literally had enough. They're like, we're not doing this anymore. We've moved so far away. You've asked me to compromise time and time again, and now here you are one more time doing this to me. It's like I refused. It's like we have eyeballs, and I think people might be just like me, where like I live in the city. The city is garbage. You know, no one feels safe here. My wife feels it's unsafe. She feels unsafe driving. There's so many immigrants out here who probably don't even get their license. And if they did, it was probably handed to them without a test. You have all these neighborhoods that need entirely fixed. You have cultures that are entirely like, you know, they worship like the worst things. They worship gang banging and everything else. And there's a lot of differences that come with that too. Now, there is a portion of me that feels bad because I think that a lot of this has been done by elitists that have been, you know, incepted into cultures to drive people to be like this, which is why it's the same thing with Americans, right? A lot of Americans, a lot of white people, they're either super fat, can't take care of their own children, or they're these super like very twink, like just weak, effeminate guys. And so you see it. It's like we've all been kind of like abused in some form, but I just think at the end of the day, people have kind of had enough of like, stop telling me to not believe my eyes and what my ears and what my nose is smelling everything. Like I trust my senses more than I trust the media.
Right. Exactly. Trust the words that we're telling you, and don't trust your own instinct, and don't and forget about what you knew about your neighbor, and forget about what you know, your lifetime experience about your brother and your sister and your or whatever, you know, let these politics divide you. Because that's what's happening from the left is a lot of these people drop a lifetime of experience of knowing you. They find out that you're MAGA, that you voted for Trump, and now you're a racist, misogynist, homophobe, you know, or whatever.
Right.
Seeing some comments in here I wanted to highlight. I did put them on screen, but I wanted to address them. Stacy 2002 says Cybertruck batteries are known to spontaneously combust. I think that's only when they're like submerged in water. And then he said to call this terrorism is fear mongering and irresponsible. I mean, that's I guess I don't think it's really fear mongering. It's just people kind of jumping to conclusions. We kind of got to wait and see and find out. But it appears that something potentially wasn't on the up and up. And then he also said, or she, I'm not sure. It's the pictures of a guy, it looks like. But immigrants do the jobs Americans won't do for an unlivable wage. And then included that I want to skin everyone who leaves that last part out. And that's something we said here on the channel before, on the show before, is they like to have this thing that, well, Americans won't do these jobs. And it's like, no, the Americans are holding it out for higher wages. When you import illegals, you import people on the H-1B, and then those people accept a job at the lower wages being offered. You're cutting the Americans off at the knees from holding out for these companies to bring their wages up, to bring the offer up, right? And so,
Yeah, I always wanted to work 45 hours at 7-Eleven for $20,000 a year.
right,
I'm
and this
dying
whole
for that opportunity.
right, and this whole 80-hour work week that people have been talking about a little bit, that's insane. That's way too much. I mean, nobody in the world works 80 hours a week. Like that is completely I mean, there's some people that work 80 hours a week on salary and stuff, and they're being taken advantage of. And there's other people that probably are like, you know, self-employed, and they're doing it just because they're trying to build something, but it's of their own volition. It's of their own free will. It's not because they have to.
Oh, I thought it was funny that Colin Rugg deleted his post about the 8-hour work week. You know, well, he wrote something along the lines of like, he was like, Americans, come on, like we want our jobs, da, da, da. And the second line was like, but I'm not willing to work an 8-hour work week. And then he went on again to repeat that rhetoric from Vivek that like, yeah, Americans are lazy. Yeah, I'm lazy because I don't want to work 80 hours at Walmart. Like, get the F out of here. And it's
Yeah.
so tone deaf to what's going on, right? Like, yeah, yeah, the mega base. And I think this is another point too. A lot of people were wanting to go back to like single income households, right? They want to go back to like what their parents had, which was able to work obviously not like a fast food job, but a tier above that, be a mechanic or something that's like a little bit beyond entry level, and that be able to be a livable job, being able to be the mechanic in your community and not have to work 80 hours a week. Where most of these people who are working 80 hours a week, they have to survive or get out of some debts, or maybe they had a couple of children. Their wives are probably still working on top of that. So you have like 120 hours in a household. It's the same reason why kids are being raised by iPads. It's the same reason why kids are being taken advantage of in schools, because the parents literally have to do all of this work that takes them away from their families.
Both
And
parents.
the kids become these vulnerable pieces for everyone to play with and indoctrinate. So the problem's not just because they don't want to work 8-hour work weeks. It's like, I want to be able to work a manageable schedule and be able to take care of my children on top of that, and be able to dictate what goes on in their lives, and not only see them when they're sleeping in their bed because I came home at 3 a.m. for the 8th time this week.
Mhm.
But again, a lot of this seems to fall on deaf ears for all these elitists who have more money than most people could ever dream of.
Right. Right. They haven't actually experienced what it's like to live in the real world.
Right.
So let's move over here and let's talk about the Cybertruck first. And we got this post here from the Quartering. And there's like tons of different camera angles of this. I've seen a few different ones at least. But let me see here. Oh, I didn't put it on the screen.
Yeah, they released this is like the one that's definitely not graphic. They did release one of like a security footage, like a little bit further away. We can see the full explosion.
Yeah, we'll try to keep it, Let's see here. Sorry. I'll go ahead and just play this real quick. We don't need to hear the sirens. But basically, you can see it out front on fire. I know due to living in a place where hurricanes hit, when water, like a Tesla, gets submerged in water, the batteries basically turn to a super hot fire. It pretty much goes up like this. So I don't know. This truck is not submerged. I don't know what happened with it. You can hear it. It sounds like almost like it does sound like fireworks. You hear the whistling. Let me go back.
Yeah, I do hear that, the high pitch.
I don't know what that would be, but yeah, that Cybertruck going up in front of Trump Tower in Las Vegas. I don't know if it's an attack yet or not, but given the fact that just the night before, there was the attack in New Orleans. Guys, you got to forgive me. I can hardly hear myself in the headset, and it's really weird. My ears are just so poppy right now from being sick. So
You don't strain yourself. You start like leaning over.
Yeah, no, I feel like fine. It's just pressure on my head. But
I actually have a video of the inside of the truck here.
let's see. But what I was saying is just on the heels of what we saw in New Orleans, in knowing that this next 19 days before Trump's inauguration is going to be a testy time period. You know, a lot of people don't want Trump to be our president. Everything's going to get put under the magnifying glass, the microscope.
Well, the one thing I do want to say, and I think that a lot of people are thinking it but aren't saying it. I do think there's very well a good possibility that this recent discourse with the H-1B visas is what led to the Cybertruck exploding in front of the Trump Tower. I think the symbology there is like too hard to deny, or at least makes the idea plausible. Not condoning what he did at all. I think it's always generally a terrible way to get your idea across. By committing an attack like that just hurts people who are uninvolved, right? Like outside of himself, it injured 7 other people. But you can even see here at the top, this is Elon Musk post here, and I think Stacey either just said that too. The evil knuckleheads picked the wrong vehicle for a terrorist attack. Cybertruck actually contained the explosion and directed the blast upwards. Not even the glass doors of the lobby were broken, so probably not even enough sonic there. But this video here, and I'll put it on full screen so that we can see that. I don't know if there's any sound here, but somebody recorded from their TV, and you can see the inside. I actually scrubbed through it a little bit earlier.
Just a vehicle fire. And so there's going to be a drone video that plays to my left. Again, you'll see as the fire initially, they covered it with the tarp to try to get it to go out. Once the fire went out through the suppression efforts of the fire department, you'll see some of the evidence in the back of the vehicle. So
yeah, so it looks like some kerosene canisters. You probably see some of these like the cardboard cutouts here of like the fireworks and such too.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody said it was a rented Cybertruck, large firework. Honestly, like one crazy way to go out. If like you did it with like low grade explosives, I'm sure that didn't feel too good for the person who was inside.
those are gasoline canisters. They are camp fuel canisters and large firework mortars.
Huh.
But I also would like you to pay attention to on that
Oh,
video.
I was
as you
wondering,
see
what
that,
is it? Go back and
looks
pause
like
it on that can.
It says camp fuel, I believe.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that's like
clean.
kerosene or something then, huh?
Yeah, some
gonna-
stuff that you could probably easily purchase by going to like a Walmart or something like that. You know, picking up a bunch of it, at least in mass, without going up to the gas station and filling it in a what are they like, the non-certified container, like the non-red ones or whatever, or blue, depending on what state you're in.
Yeah, I
to
think
on that video, as you see that, it looks like the exterior of that truck is completely intact as it sits there. The fact that this was a cyber truck really limited the damage that occurred inside of the valet, because it had most of the blast go up through the truck and out. In fact, if you look on that video, you'll see that the front glass doors at the Trump hotel were not even broken by that blast, which they were parked directly in front of. You can see that in the video.
they like to blow things out of proportion too and make news worse than it is, because that train wreck theory or whatever type scenario where you can't take your eyes off of it. They got to what I'm saying? They got to make it seem worse than it is
re-roll
if you want to pay attention. But
Can't take your eyes off an accident.
yeah, I don't know what it was that could have caused this, but I mean, it seems like there's a bunch of combustibles in there, and maybe the guy went to light a cigarette or something, and that was enough to trigger a little flash, and then some wicks went off, and then boom. I mean, you've seen, I remember that video from a few years back of the people sitting on their front lawn, and they have a bunch of fireworks in the back of a car, and like the hatch is lifted, and something blows back into the car, I think, and then just within seconds, like that lady gets up, she grabs the little toddler and runs off, and the car just like the back end of it just melts down almost because like everything ignites at once of all the fireworks and stuff. So I mean, it's a lot of heat and everything in one place. So it might have just been an accident, but the fact that happened at Trump Tower is definitely going to draw eyeballs.
Well, I mean, that's why I think it's intentional. You have the symbology of it happening at the Trump Tower. You have it being done in a
Yeah.
Cybertruck. Obviously, right on the heels of the discussion about the H-1B visas, everyone kind of turning their back on Elon, this whole rhetoric. But more specifically, like the kerosene, everything, all of that being like readily available, seems like it was like done on a whim.
Well,
It was just like,
go ahead.
I was
Sorry.
just gonna say, it seemed like it just happened. Like some guy got really irritated, went to Walmart, maybe he already owned a Cybertruck, but they said it was rented out.
Right.
So again, that makes me even also believe that
It's a
somebody
lot
knew
of
they were going to do this. They used the
yeah.
last of their money they had and went and took care of it.
It's a lot of junk to throw in the bed of a truck that you just rented. That's for sure.
Yeah, it looks like somebody's saying, Delbert saying, interesting. Do you think it was somebody with no explosive or no knowledge surrounding explosives? I would imagine it's that more than just trying to be a more calm boom. I think somebody would have, if they were going to go to this length and it was the driver, and we can assume it was the driver who took out this incident by himself, I would
Right.
imagine he would have wanted to at least blow the doors out of Trump Tower, make it a bit more of like
A
an
devastating
actually
scene.
impactful thing.
Yeah, because as soon as they get the car out of there, there'll be some burn marks on the ground that they'll power wash out, and they won't even see any remnants of it. Unlike like the Oklahoma City bombing type scenario where it literally just cleaned the whole front of the building off. You know what I mean? Like just
Right.
the whole front of the building was just sheared off.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is why I highlighted again the the lightning striking, all of the different buildings, those significant buildings. It feels like there were symbolic for what we're up for in come 2025. And it's crazy to think that we're having this much happening. And normally what's crazy is like during this period, it's the fact that it's like the lame duck president who's like doing all this kind of crazy stuff that leads up to the transfer of power. But we're getting it from the person who's getting ready to be inaugurated. And it seems like there's just so many small fires happening with all these disagreements. It's too much to kind of combat at once. That
Right.
And I will say again too, what better time to voice your disagreement than now, right? Like obviously he will be president. So it's like now we should kind of like decide and course correct as much as possible, get these kind of like the chinks out of the armor, also kind of like really hold the line where we want to hold the line in our values. It's just wild though. I expect it's not going to slow down. And I think if anything holds true with what we see like in warfare, and that's what you can call this, right? Fourth and fifth generational warfare, is that rarely, if ever, does anything ever kind of de-escalate. It really only escalates until like we hit a major point, and I don't think we've hit that major point yet. And it's really unfortunate because I say this often too. I think one of the worst things about humanity is that somebody in like bullies, and you can apply this with anywhere, like people have to literally be like punched in the mouth before they stop doing something. It's like, people won't stop messing with a snake until it bites them. All that I think that applies even true with like playing with American lives. And so I think we're bound to come into an area where violence may be a lot more prevalent than it ever has been. And we might even see it from groups that we've normally not seen it from, like not the Antifa brick throwers. We may see it come from factions that we normally were always holding the high ground and saying, see, look at us, we're not Antifa, we're not doing this. And it's an unfortunate thing to say, but I think that possibility grows by the day, the longer that the American people are on the ropes. It's just an unfortunate reality.
Yeah, and TNT said rented from the same company that rented the white truck in New Orleans. I thought I heard the story about the truck in New Orleans was that it was like it wasn't a rented truck, that it was sold like 20 times in the last 2 years or something. And I don't know. I'd have to look into it a little bit more, but if that's true, that's definitely interesting. I mean, I guess unless it's like budget rental, I mean, they're everywhere or something like that, right? And Kukla said,
Could
Tyler,
be
you better soon. Thank you,
Enterprise.
Kukla. What was that?
Enterprise, any of those like kind of like large companies, right?
Right.
Enterprise, Budget, Hertz. Trying to think of those like other car rental companies. It's been a while since I've been at the airport.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I guess let's see here. Elon wouldn't even fight Zuckerberg. Yeah, I was hoping they'd do that. I didn't think it would really happen. A lot of small terror attacks are going to keep happening. Delbert said, I feel like a lot of small terror attacks are going to keep happening and keep everyone in constant fear. They pass new laws to protect us. Eventually, big attack will send us to fight Iran. I know, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, you end up getting, dude, Trump assassination. It was Iran.
I know.
Drones
Right?
over Jersey. It was Iran. Like anything that they can use to like leverage the American sentiment for going to war with Iran, they will. Like, I mean, I color me shocked if I don't see in like 24 hours. The guy in New Orleans apparently had been given a message from some guy in Iran. It's like it'll find its way to attach itself there, all in this effort, the same way they did with the initial 2001 endless wars in the Middle East, is to gain the sentiment of the public of like, man, they might just keep doing this stuff if we really don't go over there and bomb this other country. Let's go to war with Iran. And that's how it
True.
happens. What
Right.
the psychological impact is.
Turo car rental. I've never heard of them. So yeah. Huh. Interesting. So let's
Let's go to the New Orleans one.
yeah, let's go to the New Orleans stuff. The first post I got here is from Nick Sorter. It sounds like I'm whispering in my headset. This is so weird.
What? No, I hear you.
Like everybody tell him to talk louder. No, it's okay. So yeah, I thought the boogeyman was Russia. It's either one. Dr. Feelgood said Iran. I thought the boogeyman was Russia. It's either one, right? Pick your poison.
Well, it depends on whose side you're on. On the right, the boogeyman's Iran. On the left, the boogeyman is Russia. It
Yeah,
just really
true.
depends on who you're politically affiliated with.
Yeah, that's true.
Somewhere out there. Like it's just like, the enemies. Iran bot farms, Russian bot farms. It just depends, dude.
Yeah, for real. So we got this one from Nick Sorter. Oh, let me put it on the screen so you guys can see it. Breaking: New Orleans attacker has been identified as 42-year-old dude who had an ISIS flag per.
Come on, you gotta try.
Shamsid Dinjabar. Okay, he sounds like a Star Wars character.
Sounds like he came out of a lamp that I rubbed and it's gonna give me 3 wishes.
Shamsid Dinjabar. It kind of sounds like a basketball player. Anyways, it shouldn't be joking. Who had an ISIS flag per New Orleans, NOLA? What does that stand for? Is that law enforcement? New Orleans law enforcement. Okay. We also know the rented truck contained explosives and he was wearing full body armor. Okay, so it is a rented truck. I don't know where I read that it was a 2-year-old truck that had been sold like 20 times already or something like that. I don't know. It was early this morning. I wasn't feeling too good. But we need to know why the FBI originally said this was not a terror attack. But you see right here in this picture, I'll make it bigger. There's a flag on the back of this truck connected to the tail hitch that is black, and you can see like an N. Looks like there's a lowercase N right here. And I saw okay, I can't. It's not there. I saw in the comments on one of these posts the actual flag that it might be from, and it looked like an exact match. Oh, I guess I could have clicked that one. It would have been bigger. And so the dude might have been flying the ISIS flag while this happened.
Well, I think there's more circumstantial evidence that points to that it definitely was. There was an initial photo, I think, that was released by the FBI that actually literally photoshopped the flag out of the photo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a different angle. You know, I might have that in a bookmark. Let me see if I can find that real fast while we're talking about it.
Well, and the crazy thing too is some people are getting it twisted. Like this guy served in the army. He was from Texas. I believe he's been in the States for some time. Not sure if he was born here, but he's definitely been here. And he had a YouTube channel, something I added later on. Uh, just wild, right? But again, like the whole scenario, I think of this happening back to back is insane. So I will say my condolences to all the people who he ended up taking their lives in that kind of wild attack. I believe the count has been dramatically increased since the first initial numbers were out. I first saw 10 and 30 injured. I think a lot more of those people have died from their critical conditions they were put in because of that. And the other major thing about this too is the fact that people might not be familiar with this, but I am because I'm in the city. There are like these very like steel reinforced beams that get raised at certain areas throughout the city, especially with high pedestrian traffic and around high pedestrian traffic times. And that's to ensure that certain pathways for vehicles are just off limits, to avoid obviously having any kind of like accidents, obviously in place to prevent things like this from happening. Um, but apparently there was a window in which they were all let down, and that's how he got into this high traffic area, was because these barriers were not put up and not in place. And so I think that just amounts to it being entirely funny. Combine that with the fact that it seems like the FBI is trying to avoid calling it a terrorist attack. Then combine that with the fact that they tried hiding the ISIS flag. All of that combined is, for what reason are we again obfuscating the reality to the American public, especially when we have things like X, right? As much as it might not be a free speech platform, something like this is definitely going to get circulated and then disproved in a matter of like minutes. So it just is, again, very, very fishy, very foul.
Yeah, definitely. And here's this isn't the same picture that you're talking about, but here's somebody claiming this is the FBI photographing the ISIS flag from the truck of the New Orleans terrorists. Still try to tell us this wasn't a terrorist attack. So there's that. See that picture. There's a little inn right there that we could kind of see on the other angle. But you know what? It's funny is I've been scrolling on this other page trying to find that other angle, and I can't find the other angle of the truck that had the flag removed. But I seen it.
Let me try.
I seen it.
Because I might have saved it. I don't know if I put it in the outline though.
Oh yeah, it might still be in there. I didn't even think about clicking ahead on that. Truck needs to be investigated. Let's see here. Let me go into some of this chat.
Okay.
We're facing multi-front wars, China, cartels, Russia, Middle East. Yeah. America first. I'd love to see us clean up our little bedroom around here before we start messing with China and these other places, that's for sure. But go ahead. You said you have
I
it?
think it's this top one. Oh, forgive me, dude. My eyesight's so bad. I got on my
No.
other
It's from the front. It's looking at the front of the truck from the side. The bed is away from you.
Somebody says it looks like it's been blacked out. It looks like an American flag that's been blacked out. I think you can kind of see that a little bit. Maybe that's the stars coming through, but again, not high enough quality to see it.
Huh.
You're right though. Like they scrubbed those photos. I can't find it anywhere.
It's really weird.
Take out more, make it more simple.
I was gonna say maybe just like search it directly.
This it?
No, it's from the front. It's
yeah,
like
I know.
You're looking at like the driver's side.
Like looking the opposite direction. Yeah.
The dots aren't dots. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and go through chat here for a second. While we try to find that picture, just to show you guys.
Yeah.
They love Photoshop in the media. They make Joe Rogan gray and Trump orange nearly. Yeah, exactly. They love doing that. Dumbing down the population for 110 plus years. The Sean Ryan, let's see here. He was born and raised here in Texas. Why is no one talking about the Sean Ryan episode where the CIA lady said there were 1,000 ISIS fighters in the United States? I haven't seen that. like you guys got to forgive me. Like I said, I got up this morning for a couple hours and then went back to bed till like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm feeling I'm feeling really crappy today, as you guys can tell.
Interesting. I'm seeing. Okay, look at this post from the quartering.
Oops.
He says, I've looked at several raw video uploads of the attack, and there was no flag on the truck during the attack. Maybe it was put on to more easily identify the suspect vehicle.
Oh wow.
So that's kind of wild, because then that would be that they attached the flag afterwards to paint it as ISIS, like the complete opposite of what we're thinking of, right? Instead of them covering it up, but maybe they added it after the fact. Again, it's crazy. This is the FBI. This is your intel agencies. These guys are such a joke.
Right.
You can't hate these people enough, man.
Well, I thought I saw earlier that they did declare a terrorist attack. Are they not trying to declare it a terrorist attack? I'm like
So the
confused.
mayor
I'm
did.
confused now from what I thought I saw earlier to what I'm hearing now.
The mayor did. Let me see if I can find that.
Okay. I see Trump issues a statement on the mass casualty. I'll read this because I got it off Truth Social. Trump says, when I said that the criminals coming in are far worse than the criminals we have in our country, that statement was constantly refuted by Democrats and the fake news media, but it turned out to be true. The crime rate in our country is at a level that nobody has ever seen before. Our hearts are with the innocent victims and their loved ones, including the brave officers of the New Orleans Police Department. The Trump administration will fully support the city of New Orleans as they investigate and recover from this act of pure evil. So that was Trump this morning at 10:50 a.m. on Truth Social.
It's wild. I don't know.
But yeah,
I
this
can't
is
find that photo, man.
that's really weird because I saw it
It's
multiple
wild that we
times.
both saw it.
I saw it multiple times this morning. It was like the first picture I'd seen of it.
I thought maybe I might have saved it, man. I didn't.
Also,
I wish I would have saved
just
it.
also why
Maybe
Maha
even
is
if I
so
did, it'd be
important.
deleted.
Yeah, we need to make America healthy again, that's for sure. Delbert said the truck needs to be investigated as well. Almost all the trucks have forward collision avoidance systems that will auto brake for you. This has to be disabled or like a fleet. Oh, yeah, you're right. I doubt if it was being rented out to people. I don't know, man. It's also weird. That's a good point.
So somebody said, "Are we veterans?" I am not a veteran.
I'm not either. Zeri. I'm not either. I had a kid when I was 17, so I was a dad whenever I was a young one.
No.
I almost did. I took the test and I had a spot reserved for me to go in as a 17-year-old with a recruiter, but I just didn't pull the trigger. I decided to frame houses and load trailers at UPS and just work my butt off.
I'm what's the word called?
But my brother was
musclehead autistic from Ohio.
yeah.
Musclehead autistic.
I'm a dumb jock. But my brother was a Marine, and he passed away, and he's buried in his Marine's uniform. So we got a lot of love for the soldiers, and that's actually why I keep not my brother, but our love for the soldiers. You see, I got the little green army man right there. That's a reminder for all of us to say a prayer for our active duty and their families. They all make a big sacrifice.
Yeah. Well, I do want to watch this video from his like YouTube channel. Lucky had shared this. Forgive me, I can't stand wearing these glasses all the time. But just to give an insight into who he was.
Tix Bomber said, "Gee, funny. This is also exactly the same as the terrorist attack that just happened in the German Christmas market too. You know, maybe that's what I saw that they declared was a terrorist attack right away."
And we didn't ever get any like updates with that too. That guy's profile got scrubbed and then re-put up. I even talked about that a little bit on the solo show we did when World missed out, um, regarding the fact that like he had a lot of very conflicting information about him. Right, they said he was like a very diehard Islamist, and then it turns out like everything on his social media spoke to the opposite of that. He was actually a very hardcore Zionist, and then things scrubbed, and then it's out of the news cycle. And like next thing you know, we have literally like no idea what's going on with that.
Crazy.
But I think Delbert was right when he said expect a lot more of these small terrorist attacks.
Mm-hmm.
I think it will continue. One of the crazier ones too that kind of fell out of the news cycle was that young girl who shut up the Christian school. She
Oh
was like,
yeah,
I
that
can't
kind of
remember,
came and went and like super fast. You're right about that.
right, and she was like, I don't even know if she was 18 at the time. She had like different aliases. She like tried uploading her manifesto, but like left it locked on Google Drive, so like nobody could open it, even though she published the link for it. Just like, and then you have like the stuff with like the Luigi Mangione stuff, where it seems like the way they're trying to even paint that or draw that up too is to kind of like not convince people, but air it in a way that would be
Hmm.
would allow for copycats to do the same thing, kind of treat it as like in some kind of light that's like, oh yeah, maybe we should maybe there was some like reasoning of like why he did this, right? And you have like all obviously the sexualization of it happening too from like girls and from like left-wing Twitter. You have all the photos being posted too. It's like it's kind of like pretty eerie with that. um but again, fourth and fifth generation warfare, dude. There's everything is a psychological bomb happening, and it's like up to the individual person who's been abused for decades with media and propagation, to decide what is real, because the people who are supposed to tell you what's real are also lying to you. And so it obviously draws into these environments where people just get swept away. Super unfortunate.
Yeah, and I'm looking through my trending on my X. I'm not just like scrolling my phone. People probably look at me like, "What's he doing?" No, but I'm just looking to see what's trending on X, and it seems like the Cybertruck is more being pushed to the forefront over the New Orleans thing.
Yeah, I see. Just me says, Atlas, are you talking about the trans girl that attacked the Christian school a couple years ago, or is there a new one? There was a new one. It was in
Yeah,
the news cycle for like 2 or 3 days, maybe.
if
Um,
that.
yeah, if that. I can't remember how many victims there were. But she did have like a manifesto where she hated her parents for raising her in a Christian way. So she took it out at the school that she had went to. I cannot remember for the life of me how many casualties there were, but I don't even think she was 18 years old. And it was another girl who was like seemingly extremely confused about what's right, what's wrong. She had like a kind of like a weird, oh, that's what it was. She attributed a lot of what the reason why she did what she did to RFH, which, if you're not familiar with that, it was and I don't know if they reactivated their account or not, was a very popular Rad Femme account on X, which literally stands for Rad Femme Hitler. That's what her name was.
Oh wow.
She consistently posted. I mean, she had hundreds. I think she had over 100,000 followers. It might not have been that big, but she consistently posted that stuff that would go viral about why she hated men and men should be treated like dogs. And I mean, all the rhetoric that came from her was very, very, very anti-male. And so this girl who committed that attack attributed, like, I did this for RFH. I mean, it's like she like explicitly said that verbatim. And then like in her manifesto, she like wrote things like, this problem will never be solved unless men are wiped and subjugated from this planet. We have to start all over, like the way men are. Like, and it was all just like everything in her life and everything that's wrong with society is because of men. And like that ended up being like what was in the manifesto that she left behind.
Huh. TNT asked if that was in Ohio.
I can't remember where it was at. I wish I could remember the girl's name. Hopefully I have a bookmark of it too. I can probably go back. I'll go back to a previous outline because it was on there somewhere.
Okay. Let's see here. See an update an hour away. Claimed terrorist was an army vet who joined. Earl's daughter says, seeing an update an hour ago says, I'm sorry, not an hour ago. Seeing an update an hour away is, sorry, I can't read. Claimed terrorist was an army vet who joined ISIS. Also claimed the jacket was an ISIS flag. Okay. TNT said multiple plane crashes, then New Year's terrorism. Guess no more talking about drones, huh? Yeah, right. The mist. They don't want people to talk about the mist or the drones. I don't know if you saw the near miss when the Duke basketball team almost got hit on the runway. As the video I saw, the air traffic controller started yelling, "Stop, stop, stop, stop," and they almost crossed right in front of another jet that was taken off, like mere few seconds away from collision.
Well, I saw one that, and I also want to say, House is right. It did happen in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
The female shooter. I believe it was in Korea.
House Leotardo.
Yeah, he's top dog at that.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
There was a plane that like had some issue with its landing gear and tried forcing the landing anyways. And the video you can watch from start to finish as it's trying to land on the runway explodes, and I think 81 people died immediately. I'm not sure how many people like died totally. It was some foreign airline though. It was like either Korean, even might have been Indian. Now that I think about it, but yeah, it was awful. And then there was another one similar to that happened like a day or two either before or after that incident. Wild stuff. And again, yeah, these are the top 1% people we need to be bringing into this country. Like, I do not think so.
I saw Matt Walsh posted one day into 2025, and we have two terrorist attacks already. So I guess he's declaring the Cybertruck as a terrorist attack.
Interesting.
Yeah, William, you're right about that. We got to get better at using code words and stuff like that. But
yeah, we already used one that's really funny. It's called Ben Shapiro's favorite country.
Yeah, exactly.
But I did want to give an update though. There were 5 people who were killed in that shooting in the Wisconsin Christian school, and 7 were injured. I don't have any other details on the bookmarks that I had. This one would have been from like a in the moment one from Nick Sortor. But again, yeah, immediately like fell out of the news cycle, like just doesn't even exist anymore. But it's also due to the fact that it's happening so often now. It feels like it is just radically escalating at a rate that even the news cycle can't keep up. And what's crazy is me and Will have been doing this for some time now. But even moving to doing this like 3 days a week is like we can still hardly touch upon everything we try to add in the outline for the day, even
For real.
without having to go to like 3 or 4 hours to just give like discussion on what we think on even like 2, 3, 4 different news topics. And it always feels like we're leaving stuff behind. And compared to this to like when I had earlier started my own individual show, it didn't feel like that at all. So from my anecdotal experience, it feels like things have definitely escalated to a point where it's happening a lot more, or at least there's a lot more like breaking level newsworthy topics, even like post election cycle, which is kind of wild.
Yeah, it's definitely coming at us a lot faster. It's so weird. I've been wanting to do more news-based videos on my channel, and it's so overwhelming. It's like one of those things where do I even start? And I just kind of divert back to what has worked for me in the past. But I am actually hoping to start doing more news-based videos. My goal is to do 2 a day, but I'm hoping to actually up it to 3, and maybe that third one will be kind of like what's going on with the day and stuff like that. But maybe we'll end up just adding more live shows. We went from 1 a week on Saturdays to 2 a week to now we're at 3 a week, and maybe we'll just start doing 5 days a week, and that'll help. I don't know.
Right.
I know in January it's kind of weird for me because we got inauguration tickets, and so we'll be traveling for a few days
you have to do live. You have to live stream from your phone there.
Yeah, I have to live stream from the phone or take my laptop and see how successful it can be at a operating StreamYard. Which I don't mind. I mean, everything's pretty much, I could pack up the camera, and I got an old mic that I could use. So I could go mobile.
Yeah, I do want to. Where was that at? I'm off the page. I did want to go back to. Let me get rid of this. Oh yeah, I need to put it back on screen. Dang it.
There you go. I just put it on that.
I just wanted to watch this video of Shamsuddin Jabbar.
While you're pulling that up, I'll show this right here of this was the mayor of New Orleans. This was a terrorist attack. FBI in the press conference, this was an attack. FBI now, we are investigating this as a terrorist attack. So kind of going back on the original stance apparently. But here, I'll pull that up for you now.
Yeah, so I just wanted to point out, because I think earlier reports showed that this guy they were saying he crossed, Eagle Pass, like he had crossed the border. But the video in here said he was a proper manager for Blue Meadow Properties. I'm assuming that's an American thing, American-based company. Also mentioned that he was born and raised in Texas and served 10 years in the military as a HRIT specialist. So go ahead and take a listen to this guy. I'm not sure what the accent is. I've not watched this video already, but just to give you an idea of who this person was, or who they say he is at least.
Good evening. I'm Shamsuddin Jabbar, property manager with Blue Meadow Properties and team lead at the Midas Group at Core Realty. I just want to say hello and let you know a little bit about me. So I'm born and raised in Beaumont, Texas, and now live in Houston. And I've been here all my life, with the exception of traveling for the military, where I spent 10 years as a human resources specialist and IT specialist, where I learned the meaning of great service and what it means to be responsive and take everything seriously, dotting I's and crossing T's to make sure that things go off without a hitch. So I've taken those skills and applied them to my career as a real estate agent, where I feel like what really sets me apart from other agents is my ability to be able to, one, be a fierce negotiator. So not only do I brilliantly market your property to make sure it gets sold as quickly as possible or gets leased as quickly as possible, but I'm also going to take every ounce of energy and putting it into negotiating for you and for your property to get the best deal that you can possibly get for it. So once we get to the closing table, all the I's are going to be dotted, all the T's are going to be crossed, everything's going to go off without a hitch. And that is my word that I'm giving to you as your real estate agent. So
his eyes are so dead on the inside, dude. I feel like there's no light on.
Huh. So that's the guy?
That's who they're saying it is. That's the, we'll say allegedly just to appease YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
TNT said he was prohibited from re-enlisting. And I did want to point out too, I saw an earlier post that was from Jack Posobiec that said that this guy actually was, I don't know if he was forced out, but was told he couldn't re-enlist based on the grounds of religious extremism. And I would assume that would be because obviously, they said the same thing about Pete Hegseth, that was about Christian nationalism.
Shadow on the wall. Sorry.
Oh yeah, shadow on the wall is kind of funny from the man there. But if that points to the fact that he was an Islamic extremist, then that makes a bit more sense if you trust what you're being told. The one funny thing I saw from Delaware there, all this stuff is fake and gay. The only real Iranian terror attack would be against Israel. They wouldn't martyr their whole country to hit us a little. They'll nuke Israel and go out that way. And I think the same even true about like Russia, right? Like I don't think we should fear like a small attack from Russia, because like if you come at us, dude, it's like you better hit us as hard as you humanly possibly can, or don't do it at all. Because you hit us just a little bit, you give us the green light to come after you. I mean, it's essentially a death sentence for you, especially the way our military kind of operates.
Yeah.
Even though we have low in numbers, we still dominate in terms of like technology and control, and obviously levers that can be pulled too. That's why it's hard to give credence to a lot of these ideas, especially because, like, again, I just doubt Iran's going to be doing something along that line too. And as far as I even understood it, I believe even Ian Carroll was someone who pointed this out. Instead of like investing into their nuclear program, they invested into a lot of drones that they had like mass capacity for drones that could armor, and it was a lot cheaper than like investing in smaller missile systems that could easily be like hit and targeted. And the next thing you know, all that money you raised or you had to invest in that kind of weaponry is just gone and deleted. Especially how we know Israel kind of operates, or Ben Shapiro's favorite country, I should say. How they kind of operate with their intelligence agency, and how easily it seems that they can find and target different things. Although that wasn't true with the pager attack, which is a whole different issue. it's again, I think the overall thing comes back down to the fact of they're doing this, and a lot of it is maybe this was an MK Ultra, right? I think it has a lot of the flags of an MK Ultra. Take advantage of a guy here, paint it in a specific light, and then use it to your advantage to again drum up support so that you send American citizens, or not even sending American citizens, but at least allowing the citizens to feel like they voted for us to go over there. Give them like the yes. They have the people say yes. That way the politicians can be like, yes, dude, like bomb that country. You see those memes of Lindsey Graham where he was like, I will do anything to bomb Iran. It's like him like sweating. He was like, I'll literally do anything to bomb Iran. That's what it seems like. That's what it feels like, especially when you see this repetitive kind of nature and how like non-common sense it would be. Especially like even in BRICS, you would think if Iran did something like that, BRICS would be like, dude, disavow. Like, we're not trying to fight America like that right now. And it all, again, it comes back to just like not even being commonsensical.
Yeah, that makes, yeah, it's a good point about the BRICS. Sorry,
yeah, we have enemies.
Say here, Abigail Shepard said, you're going to the inauguration. I wonder if you'll be able to meet Michelle Obama while you're there. No, thanks. Oh, you said
Michael.
Same.
Mike.
Same. No, thanks. Do not want to do that. But I did see they just announced that Trump is going to do a rally on the 19th, the day before. So I'm hoping maybe I'll be able to get into that too.
Yeah, just don't scream what you said last time at January 6th.
I don't remember what I said. Let's see here. Earl's daughter said, I did find it interesting how Fox had to let us know 2 Israelis were deleted in New Orleans and the Netanyahu had been connected just hours after the attack. Yeah.
Interesting is a great way to describe it.
Yeah, I don't trust Fox at all.
And
so excuse me.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying excuse me because I coughed in the mic before I hit my mute button.
Oh, was it fast enough? No, I mean, that's a good transition to, I think, will probably be the last thing we touch here.
Yeah.
We're going well over. I went ahead and shared this on my end, which is the fact that Thomas Massey pointed out that we put a bill through in the House Rules package that would protect Netanyahu, and it's to be voted on immediately after the speaker vote. In regards to the fact that the arrest warrant was put out on him from the International Criminal Court, I believe is what it's called, for what I believe is considered war crimes. This is something that even like the Pope has said over in Europe. And again, I say this all the time, and it's one of the easier ways to describe it. When you notice that all rivers kind of flow in one direction, I think it begins to get exuberantly easier to be like, this seems to make sense if you look at it from this framing. I think House's comment's pretty funny too. The terrorist attack was horrible, but have you thought about Ben Shapiro's favorite country? Again, it's like, right, it's like that seems to be what the priority is. That's what the highlight is. I'm glad Thomas Massey pointed this out too, and be curious to see what that kind of pushback is that he'll get from this. But again, it's hard to talk about these things without YouTube wanting to wipe you off the face of the earth. But I think it's important to point out, and it's just super unfortunate too. American people once again being abused, like getting beaten over and over and over again. And a lot of it too is a lot of people just don't pay enough attention with what's going on, that they kind of are susceptible to these kinds of ideas. I think it's a lot of people who are on service level politics would see that and they go, yeah, dude, did you hear about Iran did that thing? Because they still have some kind of like base level of trust that like no way the media would lie again about this specific thing, right? Or maybe they don't even realize they're being abused and that they're being lied to all the time. And that's what makes it even harder too, because you have a lot of people be like, yeah, dude, that was definitely Iran. And then anyone who's kind of looked into it a little bit longer or has a better understanding of the geopolitical circumstances that surround it and the context, the situation is like, no, dude, you're wrong. But again, that cognitive dissonance there that exists with like what you're being repeatedly told on CNN, Fox News, you know, all your favorite pundits, yeah, your favorite influencers, and then what you can find on places like X when they differ that completely. It just, for a lot of people, they're like, I don't even care.
I'm good. I have some over.
But just to highlight another
Sorry, I thought I was muted for that. My wife
No,
was
you're
offering
fine.
me some cough drops.
Yeah, it sounds like you need them.
Yeah, I got
I was going to say, is there anything else you wanted to cover? I know we went long. We're at 2.5 hours here.
I kind of wanted to talk about the mist a little bit, but I think everybody's probably seen. I mean, have you guys seen the stuff that's going on? Let me know in chat. Here, I'll just put this one up.
Yeah, this what the misting, the sickening.
Yeah. Girl's daughter said, sorry, I'm trying to chat on my phone and I need new glasses, but Biden decided I needed to pay more for groceries to afford it. I know, exactly. I'm sorry about that, Earl's daughter. That sucks. But this video right here, this is in Daytona, Daytona Beach, Daytona, Florida. Yeah, Daytona Beach. And this is this person saying, this is a 2-part video, but we'll just show this one. The beginning, you can see the fog begin to roll in during the afternoon from 2 directions. The second part shows how much fog quickly rolled in. Florida residents are commenting, saying this is not typical and not very right, and very not right. I can tell you as a Florida resident that I've seen these fogs at night before. It doesn't seem all that abnormal, but I do find it ironic that I got sick to this extent and I pretty much stay home 100% of the time. So, you know, it sparked my interest.
This is Daytona Beach
Oh, is there music in the background? Darn it.
Shores, Florida at 1:45 p.m.
There
Okay,
is.
I'm gonna have to mute that, but I think she's just repeating what I just read. But you'll see it. I know they want their little piece if you play their music. It's like, I'm not even playing your music for the music. I'm playing it to show the video.
Yeah,
And the
Lindsey
second
Graham would be like, dude, this mess is crazy, but you know, back to Ben Shapiro's favorite country.
Mm-hmm. They're turning the fog.
Yeah, they're turning the people gay at this point.
Right. Abigail Shepard said, yeah, the crazy fog makes me think of the movie The Mist.
Well, the insane thing too is
been on antibiotics for 2 weeks and still haven't shaken the illness. That sucks, man. I hope you start feeling better.
Yeah, brother.
Tix Bomber, it's weird. I don't find it that weird since they're in the ocean. Well, and I'll tell you, in Florida, there's bodies of water everywhere. There's like retention ponds and just everything everywhere. And so it's not abnormal. I remember driving to work on days where you can see maybe 100, 150 feet in front of you in the morning, and then when the sun comes up, it all goes away. So like I said, I don't find it all that abnormal. There's people claiming that this mist is all over the country and even in other countries, but I think it's just kind of a winter thing. It has to do with just the weather is weathering. But other people are saying that let's see here. And I took a picture of it from my backyard with a flashlight the other night. And you can see like the particles in the air are big, and like they're suspended. They're not like just coming down like rain or whatever. But I've experienced this. I've been down here for almost 10 years, and it was something I noticed the first couple years and then stopped noticing. But now that people are making a big stink about it, it seems like, especially since I got sick.
What makes me think too, how long were we told, chemtrails don't exist, these things aren't real. And then, a few months ago, Florida passed legislation that bans different airplanes from from what's the right word? Not excreting, but like putting chemicals in the air.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's crazy, dude. It doesn't happen, but here we are legislating that you aren't allowed to do it. It's like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
It's just the teens, baby.
Yeah, it's and who
Sorry.
knows? It could be maybe it's just something, innocent. But it also could be another thing similar to like the East Palestine incident, like some kind of like planned chemical disruption,
Right.
meant to either harm people in general or just harm the area, the soil, the organics around it too.
A failed attempt at cloud seeding to create big snowstorms or something. Maybe they're trying to make blizzards all over the place, but it's just not cold enough. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
weird. This person
The
says,
hurricane machine broke.
yeah, this person says if the fog is heavy and happening near you, speak up. People are reporting this all over America, the UK. This is Toronto. Resident says it's effed up and it smells. That's the thing. Some people are claiming that it has a weird smell. Other people are almost like comparing it to ash, saying it leaves behind like a white residue. One woman, I think I saved it. I'm just scrolling through my bookmarks here. This one's in St. Augustine, Florida. And that's what it looked like at my house whenever I did the flashlight through the backyard just the other day. You can see how it's just kind of big drops like suspended in the air.
Can't see the fog here, but check this out.
It's super dense. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. It's unique, but let's see here. This one right here.
I look like shit, but I need to show you guys my air filter. When I'm on deck, I have like...
She's basically saying she changes her air filter every month, and then she pulled out her old one. And
Here. This is a new one. Let me show you what my new one looks like. This is a new one, okay?
those are thick.
It's a MERV 11 filter.
This is a serious air filter.
No, keep in mind, I just changed this filter like a month ago. Let me show you the one that I'm about to pull out. What? What in the actual fuck? Look at this filter, y'all. I've never pulled out a filter this dark in my life. Look. What?
There's one side.
What in the actual fuck? Look at this filter, y'all. I've never pulled out a filter this dark in my life.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
Never
you
in
know,
my...
they do make like charcoal colored filters like that. But I'm assuming that since you showed us the first one that was a part of a box of filters that she has, that she's not doing like playing a trick on us. But I don't know. I'm gonna go change my filter actually after this. Now that I think about it.
She's actually like not changed it in 2 years. We're all getting the wool pulled over.
Right. Just me said, no, I gotta check my filter. It's funny. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just wanted to bring it up because people are saying they're claiming that there's something to it. Personally, like I said, I don't think there's really anything to it. But I do find it ironic that I got sick and I haven't been around people.
Yeah.
Jakey O'Dice said, ignore the distractions. Yeah.
Real.
So, anyways, I think we could probably just go ahead and wrap it up there. Or whatever you want to see. It just looks like a daily dew fog. Yeah, I know. It really does. I'm not trying to make too much about it. I just figured I'd share with you guys what's kind of been going on because people have been talking about this fog, this mist for a couple days now. I guess it's really big on TikTok. And you know, whatever. It made me sick. I'm claiming that it's
buy toilet paper, buy water right now.
Kind of, you know, the funny thing is honestly, I got a bunch of chickens out back and they got much smaller respiratory system and stuff like that. And they're all fine. So I really, honestly, I feel like if there was something to it, small animals would really be affected a lot stronger than what I'm experiencing. So anyways, make sure you guys are hitting the like button, subscribing to the channels. Once again, we are trying to get Atlas over 1,000 subs. So if you're watching on his channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But also come over to America First TV, my channel, and hit the subscribe button as well. And vice versa. If you're watching on my channel, make sure you go stop in Atlas Thugged and help him out. And then if you're watching on X, of course, hearting the video and sharing it and retweeting, reposting, all that good stuff. I love seeing all the new faces. I appreciate everybody for participating in chat. Had a really good time. I'm super glad I fought through the illness and went on with the show. And it's you guys that make it, make it all worthwhile. So let people know what your final thoughts are and get out of here.
Yeah, no, I feel like on my YouTube channel specifically, I think I must have hit the algorithm pretty well. I think I got a lot more people in here than I normally do. I want to say thank you for that. Appreciate you very much. And everybody who tuned in from X too. I know there are people who tuned in from X as well, Delbert. And yes, Christ is King, the only true God. Amen. Yeah, make sure you smash the like button. It helps us, obviously. It helps compete with all the leftists who come here and dislike all this stuff. And share the show if you enjoy it. If you have a friend who think you might appreciate us, or if you hate what you saw, share it with your lefty friends so we can get more engagement.
Yep.
Yeah. You can also follow me on X too. I'm always giving my more radical takes on X as well. But again, regardless, we appreciate you being here, and Happy New Year to everybody. And be safe, stay smart, and go to church.
Yeah, right. Go to church. Make better community with your neighbors and all that good stuff as well. And then I wanted to say thank you guys for the well wishes. I'm seeing some people telling me to get well. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. And I will. And we'll be back on Saturday. Well, actually, I'll be back on Saturday. Atlas will be taking the day off. So look forward to seeing you guys there. And with that, the last thing I have to say is Christ is King.
Amen. Good night, everybody.
I messed it up. I got to restart. There we go.
Restart.
Let's war rolling Atlas dog. We here to bring the truth. Jar open this podcast. We breaking through the fake news. They try to silence us, but we will be subdued. We're bearded alpha males here to save the youth. Spitting fire on the mic with the bass Christian takes. Exposing the lies, keeping the demons at bay. We ain't afraid to speak up. We won't be swayed. Jar open this podcast where the truth is laid. Jar openers, cracking open the lies. We're rolling Atlas dog. We're here to rise. Bearded alpha males saving the youth from the godless demons, spreading the truth. We ain't playing games, we're on a mission to awaken the masses with our intuition. Pulling out the corruption with no inhibition. Jar open this podcast, sparking a revolution. We're not afraid to stand tall in a world full of deceit. We're the voice of reason, bringing light to the street. Keeping it real, never missing a beat. Jar open this podcast where the truth meets the heat. Jar openers, cracking open the lies. We're rolling Atlas dog, we're here to rise. Bearded alpha males saving the youth from the godless demons, spreading the truth. Jar open this podcast where the truth will never cease. Join us on the journey to bring back peace. We're rolling Atlas dog, fearless in our release. Jar open this podcast where the lies will decrease.